As I suspected, 32 flavors.
Try the sauce. I'm soaked in it.
Oh, I could lick you all day long.
No, I don't hate Balboa, but I pity the fool, and I will destroy any man who tries to take what I got.
What?
It really is here. It's real. It's huge. It's toxic. It's Tuesday. It's Toxic Tuesday. And we're at 50 episodes. What the fuck happened? I can't believe it, but here we are, and we made it this far, and a lot of you who were there from day one, as we like to share around here. And then there's those who came on later on, and it's been all downhill since. And I thank you all for joining me on this journey of discovering what great movies were like, and great toxic, fun, ridiculous, antic-filled Laden movies were. And boy, has it been a journey. And a lot of fine gentlemen have joined me along the way for that journey. And it's been absolutely batshit insane. We've had Comics Division on a few times. We've had Quarter Black Garrett on a few times. Like, it's been wild. I've been very fortunate to have this type of show, and for it to have wild episodes like Heavy Metal, Die Hard. Like, we've had a lot of great memories tonight. But guys, we're just getting started. As Ripa has been saying a lot lately, we're just getting started. It's going to be huge tonight, all right? Beavis and Butt-Head Do America. And shout out to Mark D with a C, who's out on his vacation. Sir, thank you for the slideshow again. Guys, the hero of Toxic Tuesday, Mark D with a C. Thank you for dropping by, sir. I appreciate it. And I would seriously want to thank you all for 50 episodes of this. This is crazy. It's beyond my wildest dreams that this happened. It all started off as your standard, I guess you could say, pop culture show. And then I was just like, man, I talk about this stuff so much. I need to kind of break away to balance my mindset out. And then it turned into, I'm like, I'm going to do this for a month. We'll see where it goes. And I went for it. And then it turned into, oh, you know what? This is actually kind of great. Maybe I should do it for the summer. And then the summer turned into, well, here we are now, 50 episodes in. And it's been an incredible journey. It's still crazy that this happened. And we've had great guys like 70s, Gary Pop Culture Minefield, Dustin Brutal, Mark D with a C, that 70s rock fan. And of course, the man of many voices, Tom Connors of Midnight's Edge, Radio, Mead, Radio number 2, because we know he number 2 is great. It's been great to have the frequent faces, the Mad Mardigans of the world. Guys, thank you. Seriously, I'm very thankful for this. And thank you all for being here right away early in the chat. I see you guys, Boosh McFadden, Cody Guy, Phantom, Outsider, Brian Barth, KR, Nut. He said Nut. Haiti too. Boosh, how you doing? D Bud Martin, dude, I can't wait till we get to 69. We're gonna pick something spicy. Shawnee Step, Martin Acosta Santana, Soul Assassin, Shinobi Firecracker, Martin Acosta Santana. Yes, Joe's Atmosphere. What's up, guys? Yes, we are onward to 69. Yes, that's the next milestone, 69. So, guys, we already got 20 plus in the chat. Can I get a huge in the chat? I want a huge. I want to see the chat just storming with huge in the chat. Yes. Give me the huge. Anyways, I'm bringing the panel here because they're waiting ever so patiently. And we're going to welcome back first a man who I've missed on this panel because he's had a wild life in the last few weeks. And I'm so glad to have him back. Mr. Gerry from the Pop Culture Minefield.
Gerry. My cup says Gerry, though. All right. Yeah, it's good to be back, man.
Dude, do you see what's in between us?
No. There's nothing. Oh, I see the monument. The Washington Monument.
Yeah.
For a second, like, oh, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're
Seriously.
filthy. You're filthy.
You know, that's how it goes, man. You know how it goes. So,
Hey,
yeah.
D-Bud. Hey, Martin.
Dude, seriously. Great to have you back,
Soul
man.
Assassin.
I missed you, and you've been a fantastic addition to this Toxic Tuesday. So it's glad to see you're doing okay, too. I know you had quite an episode the last few weeks, so good to see that Gerry is back and back in style. So a nice new setup, by the way.
This is a screen.
Oh, I know.
It's made to look like my old. This is what my studio looked like back in the day. Now I have to do it virtually.
All right. Well, I like it virtual. All right. I like it virtual. So, all right, dude. Thanks for returning here. Guys, welcome back, Gerry. All right. Tom. How are you, Tom?
This movie rules.
Yeah. It's like one of the best movies ever made. I think it won like 20 Oscars or something like that.
Well, it's nice to have you here.
Where am I?
You're in my butt.
Whoa. Yes,
Yeah.
thanks for having me. This is one of the greatest films of all time, and I can't wait to talk about it.
All right. Awesome, sir. Thank you for being here as always. I'll bring in Mr. Dustin. We missed you the last few weeks.
Yeah,
Welcome
man.
back.
Thanks. Glad to be here. This is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Are you doing a virtual background too?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, that's it.
That's your real background? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, that's the real deal, man. Dustin's all real.
I
Well,
live
sir.
here, man.
Yeah, he lives there. Good to have you back. And I'm glad you could be here too. You definitely have been here for quite a bit of these episodes, man. And that's a lot of time, especially since I know you have a busy life leading your channel and your domestic life. So I appreciate the time you've done, sir. So good to have you. Let's rock and roll and let's do America. All right. We're going to do it. All right.
We're going to score.
Oh, 70s isn't here?
And now coming back to Toxic Tuesday.
Oh, good.
Our little turtle friend, Shelly.
Shellback. What's up,
Shellback? Saka, you alive? No.
Nope. He went away to
No.
pee. Oh,
Oh,
no,
there
he's
he
back.
is.
I am not.
You're cutting out. We see his mouth moving, but we can't hear it.
Are we looking between your fingers or is that somebody's legs?
We heard something about TP in your bunghole. All right, we're gonna bring in our tonight's producer of the show, and of course another fantastic frequent panelist on here. Guys, you love his voice, but most of all, you love his shiny head. That 70s rock fan.
That's why I'm going to deny you it. You're not going to see my head.
Yeah, there's a lot of bald on the show tonight, isn't there?
So it's a pleasure to be on a stream where there is somebody older than me here, Gary, and I can tell Gary's a senior citizen because he set his studio up back to front. The screens are supposed to be in front of you, okay?
Yeah. And
All right.
Scotland is in Canada.
It is. Most of it is, actually, because it was thrown out.
Yeah, I didn't say hi to Tom. Hi, Tom. Tom.
It's just one of those streams.
He's one of those. Yeah, he's
like, Tom's going
He's
for a
probably
coffee.
he has like a pager for when he needs to say something.
Tom's got
Hi,
the
hi Gary,
franchise.
spelled Gerry.
Hey, Shubek, I said hi to you, but I don't think you heard me. And I asked you, because I couldn't tell. It looked like you were either looking between your fingers, because your fingers were right up on the camera, or that was some lady's legs.
He was
Hey, Gary with a
TPing his
J.
bunghole.
Hi, Tom.
He TP'd his bunghole.
Who, me?
Yeah,
You know, and I do want to point
Are
out
you talking
something
about
here.
me?
What's that shit? What's
Are you
up?
talking about me with the lady with the legs?
Yeah, because your hand was right up on the camera or something. It looked like either your fingers or
Well,
somebody's
it's
legs.
the phone.
Oh, you've got
It's the
bad
phone,
connection.
and
Yeah, you have bad connection.
I'm in my mobile
Shell.
studio.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Damn it, Beavis.
Hey, Nick, I
Because
wanted
the
to thank
feds
you.
are out looking for him.
Oh, what'd
wanted
you
to
say?
thank you,
What'd you
Nick,
say,
'cause-
Gary?
Yeah, because of you, I'm back in with Mad Mardigan, and we're planning that veteran
Oh.
show.
Oh, you're a couple of
Yes. Oh, dude, sick. Hell yeah. And wherever he is, if he's listening, shout out to Mad Mardigan. But a bigger shout out to the one and only Handy Randy. We love Handy Randy on this panel.
Everybody likes a
Randy,
handy Randy.
especially from Randy. He's our Handy.
I went to high school with two guys that looked and acted just like Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, that's
And
beautiful.
when I first saw it on MTV, I was like, did somebody meet John Sweeten and Randall Hedge? Because they were just like these two idiots.
Dude, watching Beavis and Butthead before this, obviously this movie came out in 1996. This show was like, obviously definitely a big Kickstarter engine for me discovering what would become, I guess you could say, not just a metalhead, but also a lifetime fan of cartoons, because I just remember seeing these two dudes who do and even though I saw it as a kid, I didn't fully understand the jokes. I was still very fascinated by them just doing so that was like entertaining enough for me, just them doing that the entire time. And then I think I was right around teenager when Do America hit, and I didn't see it right away, but I saw a few years after it came out with a friend, and I'm like, dude, this is the greatest movie of all time. And I'm thinking, man, fuck whatever's that Leonardo DiCaprio movie garbage. And I'm talking about Titanic, by the way. And I'm just like, this is the real shit right here.
I was
like,
cheering
it's all
for the
Beavis and
iceberg the
Butthead.
entire movie. Go the iceberg. Come on.
The fact that they took a story where they had him go around America. This is like, if anything, kind of reminds me of I like to think of it as the animated version of Dumb and Dumber, because in Dumb and Dumber, you had these guys on a mission and there's a setup going on, and these guys are being put on a mission and there's a setup going on as well. So that's why I've always liked this movie too, is the original Dumb and Dumber. But except I think this movie has definitely a lot more.
But here comes the disturbing bit when you see under his shorts. It looks like he's crapped himself.
Oh yeah, dude. It looks like he soaked himself mad.
That's right.
And Joe, to answer your question, we get these mad visuals courtesy of Mark D with the slideshow presentation. He's the one who makes this happen. So thank you, Mark. I know you're listening in, and I think
that's disturbing. That's very disturbing.
Look at that crack, guys. You want to see crack? Look, I'll go back to the crack. Zoom back in, because that's a nice shot for Mad Mardigan.
Wait a minute. Now you're challenging me.
I am challenging you to crack.
I only just figured out where the pause button is. Hang on. Let's start again. Right, we want the crack.
Well, I guess for some historical aspect, this movie came out between the 6th and 7th season of the show.
Yes.
And the 7th season started a month after this movie came out.
What? No.
Now, remind me, did the 7th season make any references to the movie? I can't remember.
Not really. I mean, the thing is, the shows were always pretty self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
They never really referenced too much outside of standard things like Cornholio. I would say we need to quit looking at Butthead's crotch.
It was Nick that wanted to. Nick was asking.
I asked for the crack.
You asked for butthole.
He wants the crack.
I want the crack.
Release the crack.
Oh, look.
Cut
it out,
Phil
butthole.
That's right. He could actually say butthole in the movie.
Yeah.
You can actually say it. No, Tom's right. Like, they don't, like, to be fair, the movie didn't need to be referenced in the cartoon, because the episode, every episode was his whole thing. But obviously, you can.
Yeah, every episode was a bottle episode.
Mm-hmm.
Self-contained.
Oh,
just love the fact in the movie they go on this wild, cool adventure without ever really realizing how wild and cool it really is. Like, they don't.
Yeah, they're not
really get-
self-aware.
No, they're
not.
clearly not. No, that's the whole joke, right?
And yet,
Yeah.
people would be dying to go on such an adventure, and they're like,
I mean, they meet their parents and everything, or their dad,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Their dads.
Allegedly.
not
Oh,
a
it's
moment
so
you'd
their
want to remember.
dads. It's so their dads. I mean, come on. Their dad laid a big
Slots.
one in front of them. It
Was that the slots or the sluts? I can't remember.
the slots or the sluts? Oh, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of sluts in Las Vegas.
There is a lot of sluts in this, yeah. Oh my. Ah!
Dude, Beavis hasn't crapped himself, so
Dude, no, he does look like he's soaking. He dishes out the crap with the fire in his mouth.
So I remember like when this TV show was like kind of starting to like rise up and be popular, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's where we first got cable. We didn't have cable before this. And I remember coming home from school, like freshman year of high school, something like that, and sitting and waiting and watching MTV, waiting for this to come on. Just waiting, just like watching the stupid whatever.
Mm-hmm. It was a gateway for a lot of good music for me, Dustin. I mean, I don't know where you were at on the musical spectrum at the time, but it definitely introduced me to when I used to be into them. I think this introduced me to Nine Inch Nails. It introduced me to White Zombie. That was cool. White Zombie, because obviously that was before Rob Zombie when he was doing like the whole La Sexorcisto and Astral Creep. And so, of course, the music soundtrack was always cool to have. Always a cool band. I'm like, bro, who's this? Like, I gotta look into this.
It made me think that Danzig was more popular like than he was.
Yeah, because of that self-titled album was such a huge deal. Album was such a huge deal the same way Static X's Wisconsin Death Trip was huge.
Well, it wasn't a big deal until it showed up on the show.
I was going to say
10 years before it like got any traction.
Beavis and Butthead famously gave a lot of bands their second chances. Like one of the only bands that really hated Beavis and Butthead was Winger.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, like almost all of them loved them because they gave them all, even if they were bashing on the videos, it still would either reinvigorate interest in the song or it would like you would completely like a band that would never had a chance before would be completely like have a new life and all this kind of stuff.
Well, there's no such thing as bad publicity, so even if they bashed it, it didn't hurt. Yeah. No,
absolutely. And you know, the only thing with Winger is they would claim that just because of the whole Stewart wearing their shirt did not help their image, and they're probably right.
It didn't help. I wonder where the Shaft opening. It's brilliant. It's
this is
absolutely
purely
brilliant.
Mike Judge just indulging himself. Clearly,
it's so.
I mean,
even Isaac, right down to getting Isaac Hayes to do it, it's just awesome.
No, this is a stellar
couple of
opening
mean
credits
guys with fire in their eyes go by the names of Beavis and Butthead.
Rest in peace, Mike. But also
if
rest
you
in
cross
peace.
Beavis and Butthead, they will throw down and blow your ass away. Know what I'm saying?
Seriously, R.I.P. to Isaac Hayes. I miss him, not just with that voice, but also when he was chef in South Park. I mean, what a voice that man had. What a voice.
Like butter, hot, buttered soul.
But, you know, you're talking a little bit about how, like, their rise to success, they almost didn't have it was almost like they were instantly huge, right? Like, it was one of those few things that I remember when it came out, like, because you were right, we had to wait around for a lot of the episodes because famously for about a year, they didn't have shit for episodes. So MTV was like repeating the same few episodes over and over. But what was happening is every time they repeat them, they get more and more of an audience. So it was crazy. Like, and then finally, when the season finally dropped, when they actually had episodes, it was crazy. But there was T-shirts and posters and cards and they were everywhere. And I was 12 when they first kind of came out and hit. So I was at that perfect age to be a fan of this stuff. And yeah, like, I mean, just, they were either guys we knew or we were just laughing along with them and shit like that. And then this movie came out at like the perfect time, at the fever pitch of their height. Like, the movie was brilliant.
December 96.
Actually, it was Christmas 96. Yep.
Yeah, so 96, because at the time when it came out, it had the biggest like December opening for a box office movie, only to be exceeded by Jack and Rose 1 year later. Sad that ever happened. This should have stayed the biggest opening, not Jack and Rose. But we can't all be perfect in the world. But this at the time, it was such a big deal, and for them to have that leap onto the big screen, that was a time when you could have a successful show and also have a leap to the big screen, because that was a time where that was more frequent. You don't have that as much now with TV shows, because obviously you also had the X-Files that obviously had many seasons that went to movies as well. Many shows nowadays could benefit from that, especially the good ones where they had that leap to the movie. It was a great time to have that, where the music was all up front and in your face. You have a badass soundtrack, and you'd have the leap to the big screen to see the characters you love at home to now see on the big screen.
Well, now I think with TV, like if TV, then it might transfer over to Netflix instead of like a movie, so to speak.
Kind of like what they did with Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, in a way. Which I still argue that would have done well in the box office.
It would have. It would have. It would probably been like if I had to guess, like if I'm going to try to be modest with the domestic numbers, I'd say probably around like 200 mil. I think
Somewhere
200 million. Yeah, 200 million.
I think a lot of people just aren't even aware of it. That's part of the problem. But
I didn't even know it was out yet.
Yeah, it's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, actually, the new series starts in like 2 weeks.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Tom, we're going to have to talk about that show. I'm just saying, we're going to have to talk about that
Let
one.
it Dirk.
I'm going to start actually seriously cycling out the streaming services I have, because with all like that's kind of like going back to, I don't know, I think we talked about this before, but like pirating is either going to make a comeback or something, because like
comeback.
Well, you know what I mean? Well, I mean,
It's
to
gonna
the
come back.
where everybody
He said
pirated
comeback.
music. Now they don't,
Yes.
because of Spotify. And
Yes.
then that kind of went away because it was like Netflix and Prime. And then now it's Netflix and Prime and HBO Max and Paramount and all these different ones. And they're $15, say $7 to $15 a piece. You're paying twice as much as cable. So, yeah.
I like how he's not using propane; he's using butane,
Right.
not propane.
And this is not Hank Hill, by the way.
Absolutely not Hank Hill.
But clearly an
No way.
inspiration for Hank Hill.
Exactly, sounds exactly like him. But
I wonder why. I mean, just can't.
Mike
totally...
Judge has only so many voices.
that's right.
Oh, that crap is.
Well, he's
wild.
kind of like a prototypical Hank Hill in a way.
You know, everybody we treat this pair like they're dumb, but I liked back there when they dropped the TV down the steps outside the school. They were pretty freaking cool when they said, "That belongs in the AV room. that belongs to the school. That should be in the AV room." They were
this belongs to you. You
smart
take
there.
care of it.
Oh my God, Shellback, you brought up Napster. Jeez.
Oh God.
Man, does that bring back memories?
LimeWire, what?
Oh man,
Virus
GeoCities, Ask Jeeves, what are the weird AOL? Like man,
AOL, man, AOL is okay. So AOL was big in me being a social person, because I was not really able to like talk and communicate with people, and AOL come along. It helped me with my typing. It helped me with my social skills. I met people, and I was able to learn how to network. And that's why I'm the social butterfly I am today.
Wow, look at that. Guys. now he's a butterfly.
Yeah. I got wings.
But
Propane and propane accessories.
He's sniffing that propane.
Beavis Butt-Head, you
Beavis
little
and
bastard. You're expelled.
That's a threat, yeah. Like
Can't you believe that scene, only because he wore boxers,
Here's
he
Bruce.
kept it at a PG-13, like they originally were going to make it R just because they're originally going to show his ass. Like, that's so silly. Like, of all the things to make it right, all right, you're going to show the principal's butt. They should have shown the butt.
Here's Bruce.
It's Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's muddy.
It's a great character.
I'm gonna get right to the point.
You had him and Demi Moore in this.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a great couple. It's a couple you'd want to know. I mean,
what the fuck?
You want us to do your wife?
Oh.
Has she got big boobs?
He wants to do your wife.
Yeah, but
We just want to watch TV.
But we'll do your wife.
You butt munch.
Okay, we got a direct donation, and this has to be mentioned.
Damn it, Beavis.
Mr. Tickle Butt comes in hot with some crack and $50 says Beavis and Butthead are two idiots, but possibly also our salvation today. Happy 50 Toxic Tuesdays. Very fitting that while this movie was a cultural moment, the new movie and show might be just as impactful today because of the times we live in. Dude, preach to that comment.
I wish it was. If it wasn't on Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, then it wouldn't be the problem. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. That is the fact that movie came in at the time it did, and there's quite a bit of distance between that and the last. I guess you could. I don't want to call it a reboot because it really wasn't a reboot. The one season they did, but I guess we'll just call it the comeback season, which was good, but they still got it. Like, it's still killer to watch, and I was like, I couldn't believe how damn good it was. Like, my face was hurting at times watching Do the Universe. So, dude, and thank you for the $50, dude. That is insane. You are very generous son of a bitch, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Thank you very much. All right, we'll continue the show. And why can't they do hand-drawn animation? I don't think it's a matter that they can't. It's that they won't. I mean, yeah, sure, there's a bunch of cheap artists that they use nowadays, but there's talent out there. There's so much talent out there. I'm not going to pretend like talent's not out there. There's so much. Well,
Gary kind of knows. I mean, it takes forever, probably. That's one of the main reasons.
Oh, of course. That's one part of it. So they want to do it's easier with the CG and the 3D, of course. Go ahead, Gary. You can take it away on that statement.
Well, it's just because I've done, frame by frame animation, and it's time consuming. And if you are trying to cut your budget down on something like this, doing hand-drawn, cut each part make it like remember those paper dolls where a kid you cut out and you'd put them together? Do the same thing digitally, and that's how a lot of the Flash animation that was done on Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, and not Cartoon Network, Comedy Central, and so what they do at this show is they do something similar to that, where they have these hand-drawn figures and they're just basically digital puppets.
Well, they took a lot of the animation stuff, and this was actually influenced by Peanuts, believe it or not. Snoopy Peanuts. Yeah. No one would think it because that's such a more like purity-based show. And then you see Beavis and Butthead, but yeah.
Well, Beavis and Butthead also follows another principle that was started by Hanna-Barbera, which is actually making it at 18 frames per second. So there's less hand-drawn animation and repeated backgrounds. Like right now, you're watching a repeated background.
Well, that was more so on the show. Yeah. Like this movie was actually shot in widescreen, 24 frame animated film. Like,
well, they finish in 24 frames, but they're still shooting the animation at 18.
Well, they would the show. The show, yes, but the movie itself is like the movie itself is done on the full 24.
I don't recall that, but I'll take your word for it, Tom.
I'm pretty sure it is, because there was an uptick in the animation between the movie and the show.
Don't just back down. I want to fight. Come on, argue.
Well, no, he is right. Tom. They do animate on 18 or the halves they call it, which is basically they'll take 12 animations for a frame. And they'll just spread it out over the 24 frames. So they'll have two per frame.
Every once
exactly.
In a while.
Yeah. So in this case, though, when they do these big movies, though, since they're going to be on a big screen, 9 times out of 10, and I'm pretty sure with this case, they actually animated at 24 frames a second. Like Disney. traditionally
Yeah.
does all their animated films at 24 frames a second.
Yep.
So it gives it that more fluidity kind of animation look to it.
Mm-hmm.
To where on TV, it basically they just got to make it look good enough to be on video. And you'll really notice this if you're a Looney Tunes fan. Any of the classic Looney Tunes that were actually done for film, those are all animated at 24 frames a second with full-blown backgrounds and everything. Once you get to the 70s when they had was it DePere or whatever animation took over, and they were doing it mainly for TV, it's very subtle backgrounds, static, all shot on the twos, and so every other frame is animated basically.
Right.
Yeah, so it's very
Guys,
all the way through this movie, I was expecting that old woman to be the villain in the end.
no, are you really?
Basically, the look we're talking about is basically what you normally would notice when you watch like classic 80s after school cartoons.
And by the
Like
way,
Scooby-Doo, that kind of shit.
They don't understand sex. This scene was to show that they don't understand sex.
No, they clearly do not, because he gets a
They're doing
seatbelt
male
on.
to male to female to female. It's
I love
funny.
you.
Look, he's acting like his life's being changed. It's kind of like when a dude gets a happy, the first time he holds hands with a girl or something, it's just like, oh wow, that's a rising sensation. Look, he called out. I want her to do it, and I like how Beavis is talking to the grandma, and she's just totally like with the conversation, but she hears it completely differently.
We're all gonna die.
They completely don't get flying. That's never been on a plane. They don't have any idea what it is.
And they got on the plane too with no ID, no pat downs.
Yeah, it was like pre 9/11.
Oh, I know. It's funny to watch because you're thinking
And
about
all
like,
this. They take all this in their stride. It's like nothing unusual going on here.
you just walk on an airplane like that. You don't have to worry about any of those things.
Security? What's that?
Could you do that like thing with my belt again?
Oh, she looks lovely.
Dallas, played by
I always
Demi
enjoyed
Moore.
being in Dallas.
I like being in the.
Glad you could join us, Nick.
Well, this is the good shit now.
Well, what's he mentioned? Good
I
shit.
want some of these.
You said good shit. Hey, Anthony said
Good
good
shit.
too much.
Oops.
Oh,
Safe as coffee. Yeah.
no, drowsy. No.
Whatever they are, I want them.
I want to see 70s hopped up on a bunch of non-drowsy pills. we start being cracked out like this.
It's not pretty.
No, it's not. But someone wants it. Will you be as erratic? Is that where you're like? "Ah!" Will
Yeah,
you
I'm
do that
pretty
in your
close.
head? Yeah, I want to see that happen. And I'm
Good,
gonna steal
baby.
your.
I got a beer.
Uppers are better than downers. That's all I can say.
And I don't have the answer to this, but this could be something Tom or Gerry could answer.
Which question?
Oh, the question
read it.
is it
On
laziness
the
that they're
screen.
doing? I'm sure they're doing like the models and stuff in hand drawn, but it's
Yeah, it's what I was talking about. They're like paper dolls, and they're reconstructed back together. But they're still
almost all the
hand-drawn.
shows have been animated that way now for like the past 10 years.
Yeah,
Like
'cause
everything
it's
from
ridiculous
Family Guy
try
to
do the
Simpsons to
other way.
everything. Yeah.
Because it's so costly to do it the other way.
Mm-hmm.
It also allows you, because South Park, proved this with 6 days to premiere. They could literally have a script written and animated 6 days before airtime.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that makes your story much more topical to what's going on right now. So I think it's really smart that they did it this way, because Beavis and Butthead should be social satire.
And you guys are Tom and Gerry.
Well, what's
It's
funny
true.
is Mike Judge was actually emulating crappier animation than it really is. Because if you watch the original stuff, like it looks like
There's like
Hey,
shaky
guys.
and-
garbage. Yeah.
You said no. Where he almost said cock.
Get out of the cockpit.
You said
Cock.
they prevented the cock. That's where Culture Casino.
They cock blocked him.
It was blocked.
They did. They really did cock block him. Like, oh, he's beat the guy
Hey,
this way for them.
Beavis, check it out. Those two dudes have the same names we do.
But then he tries to spell it out.
I like how he shows off his ass to him.
Beavis.
Yeah,
Boothead.
And this is the shot.
That's because they think he's blind. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, believe it or not, this movie actually did very well with the critics. Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel gave it thumbs up.
Yeah, they did.
They probably went in with a really low bar, though, too.
You said thumbs up.
Well, the thing is Beavis and Butthead had this. It had this reputation going into it. Like most people didn't really watch the show; they just assumed they knew what it was. Kind of like with The Simpsons and South Park at first too. You know, the parental thing where they're just like, "Oh, it's garbage. It's utter garbage," and blah 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 blah. But then adults, they come to find out adults were actually watching it just as much as kids and teenagers, right? Like. And that's why David Letterman and Bruce Willis and Demi Moore are all in this movie, because they were fucking fans, right? They loved the show. Like David Letterman said time and time again, he had like a bunch of shows taped, and when he'd get done in the day, sometimes he'd just go home and watch hours of Beavis and Butthead and just cackle at them. And that's why they were always showing up on the show, and he was showing up with them and so on. And yeah. And then there was a lot of other famous people who were fans too that were adults. And it was because you kind of got it. It was biting satire, like you guys were just saying. It's a reflection of society through the eyes of these complete fucking morons, right? Like that's the beauty of the show is you go in thinking they're the idiots, but what happens is they end up showing everybody else's. It's kind of like Archie Bunker. It really is. Because, you know, you go in thinking, yeah, Archie's the idiot because he's getting the wrong idea, but he turns around and 9 times out of 10, he ends up showing worse bigotry in others through his stupidity, just like these guys do, right? Not so much bigotry, but just, you know, the fact that, you know, the whole world is just as stupid. And we really get that hit home in the movie, in the more recent movie with the astronaut lady, when she finally realizes.
When she finally realizes they just want to have sex with her.
Exactly. Like all this time. That's what I'm saying. It just shows how stupid everybody else is too.
Peter Sellers being there also did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Great example. Yes.
They all throw their assumptions onto his character. They assume all these
everybody
things.
is putting who they are, projection, you know, while he is just very stupidly simple. There's no agenda.
I like to watch. I like to watch, as he says it.
That's right. Oh my God, led to one of the funniest scenes.
And you know what? In reality, that face is there.
Yes.
Oh man, that was great.
Well, at the time this movie was made, all these places existed. Not so many of them do anymore, but
well, Golden Nugget. I played cards.
A few do,
Golden
yeah.
Nugget.
Some of them are there.
Harrah's is still
Looks a
there.
bit different.
Yeah,
now,
Vegas
but-
still is a little old school in the 90s.
Yeah, this was before they kind of revamped a lot of things downtown.
They should have not revamped.
Well, the downtown is actually pretty dope now, from what I understand. I haven't
That's the
been.
thing, is it kind of needed it. Let's be real. I mean, I've never been there with the old Vegas, but I've heard the stories when I was down there, and I stayed in an older hotel. Mine wasn't even that old, and I'm like, this was
We
already
stayed
20 years overdue. So yeah,
we stayed at the Plaza in 2006 downtown, and like it was exactly like it was in Swingers.
yeah.
When you walk in, there's like old people playing Baccarat and stuff. Like
That's the
and
thing.
it
It didn't
smells
really
like
change
mothballs.
that much through the 60s into the 80s into the like the 90s. So like 90s things were falling apart, and yeah, it was kind of becoming the reputation of it. The Sin City reputation of it all. And
But I like the Fremont Street now, the old strip. I think it's fantastic up there now.
yeah.
It's really
Yeah,
good.
Well, that's the thing
of-
is they did try to make it a lot more family friendly town.
It's quite
Right.
good fun up there. Yeah, and
So
it's-
well, they've got like a pool there, like the Circa. I think there's a pool there where you can watch it's like a gigantic party pool that's like a sports book and like nightclub and all. It's pretty neat from what I've seen now.
yeah, it is nice up there. Yeah. There's a lot of that. There's
When I
bands
was there,
playing
they
out
were
in the
still
street and
building.
stuff.
Yeah, when I was there, they were still building the stadium and stuff yet. So, like, that was all tore up. But
He said he was gonna pay us to do you. Oh, I like how they're so.
she figures it out pretty quick, though. That shows how smart she is. Like, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, she's one of the few characters in these shows ever that like gets them right away, figures it out, and she's smarter than every other character in the movie too.
And she uses it to her advantage. She uses their stupidity to her advantage.
They've still not figured it
to
out.
do the setup.
Of course not. They never figure it out.
You think they're gonna have to do him?
I don't know, but $10,000.
Is there what? They're what? 15.
15. They're meant to be 15, I think.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Yeah.
15 years old, I think.
Yeah, they've always been perpetually like 14, 15, something like that. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Junior high schoolers or whatever. Not junior high schoolers, but like freshmen or
I
whatever.
think it references that they're 15 somewhere later in the
movie. I think in the movie later on when they get like Stack involved and all that stuff. Yeah. Two 15-year-olds make their way across America. So I'm sure something like that he says at some point.
Yeah, he does.
Because they're not old enough to drive, but they're not. Yeah.
He's the perfect choice as well.
Yet it's not quite creepy that they keep hitting on women, right? They're 15, so it's that they're at that awkward boy age, right? Like, yeah.
They don't really understand what it is they're trying to do, or what they think will happen.
Well, that's what I've always said. That's the beauty of it with these guys is they want to score, but if they ever actually did, they wouldn't know what to fucking do.
Wouldn't know what the fuck.
Yeah, hence again going back to the scene where they can't even figure out how to buckle up.
Well, that's what I love near the end when he gets the body cavity search and he's like, "Did I just score?"
I just. He's all disheveled.
Exactly. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
What
so
incredible!
Deep that you'll have you can feel his teeth or something.
I'm talking Roto-Rooter all the way to the back of his gums.
What incredible sewing job! Yeah. Seriously, she knocked that all apart while they trashed her room.
Hey, remember that guy whose camper they were whacking off in? Burke, you're an officer of the government. Never end a sentence with a preposition.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah.
Remember those kids who in camper they were off whacking? Yes?
Off whacking. Not bat whacking.
Something tells me they're in on it. Full body cavity search.
It's funny how they leap straight to that every time. Straight away, full body cavity search.
He's obsessed with the body cavity search.
There's nothing in between. There's no interrogate them more.
Or how they're just like busting into random places, like they bust the teacher, like the teacher would know what they're up to.
He's their teacher.
He's like kumbaya, and they're like, whoa.
He's singing one of my favorite songs, "Lesbian Seagull."
Oh,
Lesbian Seagull.
Yeah.
Hey,
Christ.
I had to. Deleted Siege for $10 says, congratulations on 50 episodes. Sorry I can't join you tonight, so I will be traveling for the next couple of days. Please give my best to the panel and chat. Thank you, Deleted Siege, for your $10. I thank you very much. Cornholio's here. You're a bunghole.
He's right, though. That was funny. The teacher getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah. Well, what's even funnier is that, this is like Anderson, he plans this big, cross country. Like he's actually going on a cross country American vacation. Yeah. Yet every fucking stop he's at, he gets accosted in some way because of Beavis and fucking Butthead. Right. Like he can't get away from it. To the end where he's the one getting hauled away because of the whole thing.
But there's that slut from the plane. But yeah, Anderson gets the shit kicked out of him.
What about this guy? I bet he scored a ton of times.
Oh, yeah.
My first name is
We're never going to score.
My first name, Butt.
I love that she calls him Bobhead.
Oh, yeah, she does.
This is Bieber and Bobhead.
Oh,
another cavity search.
It's all about those damn cavities.
Is that a promise?
Straight to the cavities. Mrs.
Or Travis,
Scum.
that's what it is. Travis and Bobhead. Yes, thank you, Boo.
Mrs. Scum.
Baller.
The beaver and buff coat comes from the George Bush quote. I got them mixed up. Sorry about that. It was in one of the episodes. They're referred to as beaver and buff coat. And that was because that's what Bush called them. It's like, you got that show on the TV now, the beaver and the buff coat.
Oh, HW did that?
No, the original. Yeah, the old one. Yeah, the old man.
HW. Wow, beaver and the buff coat. He called that
They're poisoning the youth of America.
Man, I feel poisoned. How do you feel, Tom? You feel poisoned?
We're making you honorary agents in the Agency of Tobacco and Arms.
Speaking of this, you guys see that there was a fire or explosion at the
Yeah.
I heard
the
about
timing
that.
of that was a little sus. What the fuck?
Isn't that where Mark D with the C is? No, I'm just kidding.
I think it's just one of the turbines blew up or whatever.
Yeah.
Beavis and Butthead were
that he's
there.
there? I don't think so.
It's just weird that we're watching this movie and Beavis does that same exact thing here in about 5 minutes.
There are no coincidences, Tom. There are no coincidences.
There's just butts.
There's just butts.
Is this a goddamn?
But there you go. Yeah.
We've got a magnet on our microwave. I don't know how smart of an idea that is, but whatever. It's got Tina from Bob's Burger just says butts.
Butts.
I personally think that Louise is a better character, and she is absolutely one of my favorite cartoon characters ever.
Yeah, she's awesome. We've got the one right next to it on the microwave. It says, "I can smell the fear on you."
Yeah, I think one of the best moments on that show is season 1 when they go to the taffy factory, and she falls down into that cistern with the gummy guy that he's made out of taffy, and Bob is like, can you see anything down there? And she sarcastically replies, "Let me see. Maybe there's a ladder or something." And then he's like, "Do you want the last thing you ever say to be sarcastic?" And she responds in sarcasm, "No." Funniest moment in TV history.
I never could get into that show.
Master Station Control.
That's what I love. Is like just before this, they had the scene where Burke's explaining that the casing has a fault in it, and it'll accidentally open up and
like the Death Star,
let the virus out, and he's sitting there fucking itching his ass.
There's nothing on this TV but shows but water.
Yeah.
Fix the sound. Turn it up. Louder.
It doesn't get any better than this.
And there goes not Hank Hill. This here is God's country. On spoil.
Oh shit.
I want to know how he got his camper fixed so fast.
I know, he got it back and it's fixed.
Dude, he's Hank Hill.
It's cartoon logic, man.
Cartoon. I think I found the remote.
It's cartoon logic. I mean, that's the deal.
And I love that they think there's some kind of masterminds and shit. This is
He cut the power off. They're so smart.
Jumping.
Well, there was that episode where they had found that picture of Beavis, and like they're like, "It's him. He's the guy that killed him." We're like, from like the 1960s. They're like, "He's 15. How did he do it?"
that was in the show, yeah, with one of the Great Cornholio episodes, yeah.
He's very intelligent
clever.
or whatever.
He's very clever. He's very clever. Or I don't know if that was a Cornholio episode, but there was this, there was that killer that looked just like Beavis or whatever.
We've all known people who look just like Beavis.
Oh, I know, right?
Well,
Beavis kind of looks like Boomhauer a little bit too.
Well, Beavis is actually based on a real kid that Mike Judge went to school with. His name wasn't. I think
we all went to school with these guys because
he said he was this kid who would just sit in the corner all the time, and he would just sit there and make weird noises like and chew on his pencil and shit and draw weird fucking pictures and shit. He said. So like that's where Beavis came from. The whole like
Mike Judge is a weird dude too. Like I saw a little bit of a Joe Rogan interview with him where he was on there with it was Mike Judge and the dude from the rapper from shit, I can't think of it.
But
yeah. Anyway, he was a
Wu-Tang Clan.
No. It was the rapper that was the little person that was the rapper with them. Because Bushwick Bill. It wasn't Bushwick Bill because he's gone, but it was one of the guys that was
one of his co-hosts.
Yeah, it was with. So it was like Joe Rogan had that rapper on. I can't think of what his name is, but he was in the rap group with Bushwick Bill and with Mike Judge. And Mike Judge is sitting there in the corner looking like the dude that has like the chicks in the cellar. You know what I mean? Like puts the lotion on its skin. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe it was just me, but watching that episode, like, because Mike Judge didn't talk all that much. It was just the other guy. I gotta fucking remember what that was.
I'm trying.
Is that the more recent interview?
It was within the last year.
Okay, I was gonna say he just did one recently with Rogan when the movie came out.
Yeah, but it wasn't that one. It was previous to that.
So he's done a few. All right. Mr. Chickle Trunk was Butthead back then.
And they're so incredibly unimpressed by
Oh,
all
look
these
at the
wonderful
shit.
things they're seeing.
It's
coming out of the ass. Of the ass.
Yeah.
It's like coming out of the ass. Of the ass.
Oh yeah, trips all these great sites, and they're just totally unimpressed.
And all the signs are of all the names like Teetsy, my Teetsy, and then Boot or Butt, and then Peck. There's a town called Peck. There's all I love the list of the town names as they go on their journey to DC, and as we have a big wiener in back of this backdrop too. We have a big wiener, guys, together. I'm just saying. Look how man, look how serious he is.
Yeah, it was Willie D and Mike Judge. So Willie D was Ghetto Boys from the Ghetto Boys.
Okay, but
that was way long. Like my brain doesn't work the way it used to. So
Pack White. White. Oh damn! I always laugh when I see names like that. When I used to last time I worked in an auto shop 10 years ago, when they had this special soap we had to use to clean our hands called Johnson Wax, and I never ever got sick of using Johnson Wax to clean my hands.
Pine Knob would be the other one then. Pine Knob. They're just totally bored by this. And
yeah.
So what?
And the boomers are so immersed. The boomers are all in. Like, this is like a life-changing experience for the boomers.
I'm sure it'd be awesome. I would probably be like really impressed.
I'd love to see that. Yeah.
Oh, I like to see it too, but it's just funny because they don't care, but the boomers are all in. They're like, huh.
I would have thought you'd be right into.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. You'd be into that, Nick. A big eruption like that.
Oh, dude, I would be into it. I'm near boomer stage. I'd be into it. But Beavis and Butthead, that's what it is.
This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
I still like the toilets, and you don't see them as often anymore. Like the ones that are on, like that run all the way down the wall to the floor.
Oh yeah,
you're like pissing on the floor. You're like, yeah, I'm peeing on the floor.
Yeah. Well, at that point, they're like, fuck it, everybody does anyway.
Dude, I know. I remember when I first saw toilets do that, I thought that was like the coolest thing that toilets can do. And I'm like, oh, look at these toilets when they flush like that. How much? But too bad.
Imagine
like
seeing one of those for the first time and you have no idea because you're like trying to find the flusher.
Where's the lever? Yeah.
Yeah, because those came in like in the mid '80s, somewhere in that point, and I'm just like trying to figure out how to fucking flush this thing. I'm like, what the fuck?
We're on a bus full of chicks.
You don't want to leave, therefore it doesn't flush. Us with chicks.
Bunch of nuns.
They're all getting frisked.
They all get a body cavity search.
Full cavity search straight to it.
Oh, all full cavity searches.
Of course, that's Greg Kinnear and Robert Stack there as the
Yeah.
FBI guys.
Stack was perfect for this.
Yes,
He was
He will be missed.
amazing.
He was so deadpan and so brilliant, and he's always in on the joke, but yet you can tell he's a team
plays
player.
it straight, completely
exactly.
straight.
Yeah.
Nah, this role it was such a fit. It was like almost typecast for me. Almost
Talking
typecast.
snake and a naked chick.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. There's a lot of banging. There's a lot of begatting going on in the Bible.
Yes, there is.
Hey, Butthead, this book's badass. Got a naked dude with a leaf on his schlong.
Hey, babe.
What? Shell?
I said, hey, baby.
Oh, okay.
We need a chick.
We need a dong too. Oh, hey, Gary's eating a dong right now. Oh no, no, right, he's doing. He took it out.
He's
of his
smoking
mouth.
some dope.
Now he put it back in.
Yeah, he's probably doing his nebulizer thing.
Yeah. I call it the
They're
dong.
taking a weird route to
I'm
get
surrounded by,
This is
I'm surrounded by cats in the house.
This
so I
has got
gotta
to
take
be
care.
like. I mean, it's not the best joke in the movie, but it is so fucking hilarious. Like them sitting here with. You
Where's
should
the
punch
bullet?
yourself. Do it again.
They tell the guy to beat himself, and I want you to hate yourself. No.
Oh, yeah, I want you to hate yourself.
It was Beavis, yeah. Do it
Was she,
again.
was she naked?
Yeah, was she naked?
Did you
Did you see her boobs?
Somebody in the chat asked who's better. Was it Beavis and Butthead or South Park? Now I remember like being obsessed with Beavis and Butthead, and then when South Park came out, going back and trying to watch Beavis and Butthead, and it kind of lost some of its appeal. I don't know if it was a change in me or what, but because I remember South Park had that same issue where like they came up with like 6 episodes, and Cartoon Network played them, and you didn't see a new episode for like a year, I think.
And sometimes, yeah. Then they get struck by lightning. That's just what caps off the whole joke.
Yeah. It doesn't really bother them.
They just don't get it either.
Yeah, but when I was 15, like, because basically when this came, like when Beavis and Butthead came out, I was roughly the same age as Beavis and Butthead, so that was like perfect humor for me.
Petrified wood.
Yeah, and I mean, South Park came in just as Beavis and Butthead ended, so for me, it was kind of like a graduation too, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, in high school, Beavis and Butthead was my high school years. South Park was my first years at college and being an adult. You know, like that was kind of, I mean, even though it did come in when I was still in high school, it didn't really become South Park until the movie. Like that was the opposite of Beavis and Butthead, to where Beavis and Butthead, the movie came near the end. South Park, they put the movie near the beginning, and that's where they really kind of found their footing with that show. Because if you watch the first two seasons or so of South Park, they're still trying to figure it out.
Oh, they
Once
are.
they get to that
were.
movie, they've got it pretty much figured out. And then from that point on, they're just hitting the road running, right? Like from there on out, every season was just spot on up until that 2016 season.
I
That's
still
kind of where
quote
the
the
first
first
time they really...
season the most of anything. Like, you know,
Really?
gonna get fucking Scott Baio's going to give you pink eye.
Maybe it's because we've seen it the most and I can understand that. But like to me, like my more memorable episodes are the much later ones, right? Especially when Cartman takes the turn from just being the little asshole to like the Scott Tenorman episodes and stuff like that. And when they really had more social satire and less about just goofiness. Because I love the first few seasons, don't get me wrong, but like, I mean, they were hanging, you know, we had the Barbara Streisand episode, the Mr. Hanky stuff. Like, it's just some of the weirdest shit.
Only Robert Smith can fight Mecca Streisand.
Yeah.
Disintegration's my favorite album.
Well, I stand both for it.
This is just stupid.
I think I'll go with Dustin. I like the earlier seasons.
Well, I think, well, for me, like, that's what I watched the earlier seasons. And
It is
then,
almost like two different shows, though, right? Sorry.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it
I
is.
mean, I watched the first couple of seasons, and then I went off and like got a job because I graduated high school because that like it kind of came out my senior year. I went out, got a job, and I worked nights, so I didn't watch TV for I don't know how long. Like we didn't because I didn't have, you know, until DVR came out, I didn't have a way to watch most TV because I worked from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till like midnight to 2 a.m. or whatever some nights. So I didn't see TV for like 5 years. And I think finally then like DVR came out and I could record stuff and watch stuff. But yeah, like I missed like a whole lot of like sitcoms and all kinds of
So you
stuff
probably
like
missed
that.
some of the best years. I mean, I get it, but
probably
like,
did.
yeah, see, that's the thing, because the movie is that turning point where they went from just making fun of goofy, weird shit to actually speaking on social satire and things that were going on. Because the movie was almost like a meta thing, right?
Yeah.
Because the movie was them commenting on all the bullshit the show was getting, right? Like, so then at that point they realized, well, we can kind of get more out of this idea of making the social satire element than just getting into like the Barbara Streisand stuff and all that kind of weird stuff. So then at that point the show shifts, and then you had the fourth grade years and the 2000 years where that's where I feel like the show really became the modern version of South Park. The kids became more self-aware. The show was constantly, you know, commenting on modern things and things that were happening in the moment. And that's the beauty of, like, you know, you pointed out, Gary, that great documentary, 6 Days to Air. Well, that's the luxury that those guys had, was that if they needed to change something or something wasn't working, they could switch it up at the last minute. And a lot of times that's where you got some of the most famous episodes of South Park after
and
that
it was
first few seasons.
sometimes being edited just before being shipped.
Right.
You know?
Well, it even became part of the news at times, especially with like the Muhammad stuff. But anyway, Shelley, you were going to say something. I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's just that, you know, after the movie and get, you know, Operation Get Behind Darky, I'm like, I can't get better than this. So
yeah, that movie took it to a whole new level that it never could go back from. You're right.
I love the
because they did several things there that just sort of pointed out the hypocrisy and stupidity of Hollywood, where they got away with naming the movie Longer and Uncut. Was absolutely a dig at the MPAA. And
well, it's because they wouldn't let them use the original title, which was South Park Goes to Hell.
Yeah. So they made a filthy line about a guy's dick in the title and got away with it because they're that stupid.
I love the fact that in the end sequence of the movie, the end credits, it's Engelbert Humperdinck singing Lesbian Seagull.
He does a version of it on the soundtrack,
does.
and it is in the credits. Come with me, lesbian seagull.
I love the bit that I love the fact they smash his guitar here. That's when I wet myself.
Doesn't one of the that wasn't one of the agents say like "goddamn hippie" or some shit
That's
like
right,
that?
he smashes the guitar.
Well, he
they kick
smashes
the
it,
shit
then he
out of him
pulls the
too,
string.
Yeah, it's
and he pulls the strings out. Yeah,
like, because anyone that sings a song "Lesbian Seagull" does need to be arrested and brutalized. Quite frankly,
when they just kick the shit out of it.
And it's a throwback to the Belushi.
I think so.
Moment
It
from
is.
Animal House.
Folk music's the guitar getting some.
I think you're right. Yeah, but I love that. Like it's fucking him that turned him. He's just like he's been wanting to get rid of him. What I love about Mick Vicker, did you guys ever see the last episode of Beavis and Butthead? I'm surprised by how many people have not, because they did have a series finale for the last episode in '97, and that was called Beavis and Butthead Are Dead.
Yes,
Not
the original last season.
Yes,
not the more
yes,
recent
the original.
season,
No,
I remember
no,
that.
the original. Okay, yeah, because at the end of
original
that, when
last
Mick Vicker thought they were dead, he lost his anxiety. Remember? Because he went from he's like, oh, I'm like normal again. He's like all relaxed, and then the moment he sees them, he has a fucking heart attack because he thought they were fucking dead. I love that.
All right, well,
Here we're gonna meet their dads. Yeah.
rotate for remotely.
answer this question. If I prefer Do America or Bigger, Longer, Man. I gotta rewatch. I gotta rewatch it.
They're both
Bigger
10 out of
Longer.
10s, Alex. Man.
Yeah.
It's
They're
like
both
choosing
good.
between your children.
I mean, what would
It
Brian
is.
Boitano do?
No, we'll definitely do a Toxic Tuesday on Bigger, Longer, Uncut.
As I like to point out, Mike Judge was a huge influence on Trey and Matt, to the point when Kenny said his first words in the South Park movie, Mike Judge is the voice of Kenny.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, you're
I
right.
didn't even know that.
When he says goodbye, you
did?
guys, that's Mike Judge. Yep.
Yep. That's Mike Judge. I
They
just
were sluts.
Oh yeah, well they find their roadies from Motley Crue that got kicked off. We also missed a great scene. We don't have to go back to it, but it was that scene about the whole whacking off and the off whacking.
You didn't score. I scored with both of them.
Both of them.
We are now at
Here's
the
how-
halfway point of the movie.
Here's
Which
how
leaves the
unself-aware.
infinite question: are Beavis and Butthead brothers? But
Yeah,
no,
I was wondering the same thing.
looking at the dad, it's clear that the two guys
big
that
fart,
Could be.
Yeah.
giant fart.
whoa.
Oh,
Oh, God.
And I was talking about this earlier too. Notice that the old man Butthead is not letting anybody else have any of the beans. He's the only one eating.
And he treats the other one like shit.
Yeah, and of course he treats his Beavis just like Beavis is treated.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Something's not.
So it makes you wonder if maybe they're just self-replicating, replicating that Beavis and Butthead aren't born; they're just constantly
They're
remade.
like amoebas.
Well, no, they have mothers. We did learn that in Do America. In fact, we learned that Beavis is actually Beavis's last name.
Yes.
We did not know that until now, like recently. Yeah, Shirley Beavis is Beavis's mom's name.
Oh, you're talking about Do the Universe? Yeah.
Yeah. He revealed,
Yeah,
and I
I
think
remember
that
that
they've
now.
actually named her before that. I swear I remember I've heard that name before. So I think it's always kind of been known. And like one point, I think they mentioned his mom's name before, but we don't know what Butthead's mom's name is.
But
They did actually have trading cards back in the day, and supposedly their mothers were on
Cops
those
would make trading cards of anything.
And it had Butthead's mother and Beavis's mother, and it was basically the two of them in drag.
I gotta ask a question, and on those cards and all the other merchandise, I believe they didn't have AC/DC and Metallica on.
No, and on all the
t-shirts.
merchandising, and that's how you could tell the difference between the bootleg Beavis and Butthead stuff and the stuff.
Yeah.
This was kind of like The Simpsons. For those who don't know, Matt Groening got pissed early on because the bootleg shit started hitting the market before the actual merchandise did. So to differentiate, he would put Bart in a red shirt in all of the merchandising. So if you ever got a Bart, in a blue shirt. So if you ever got a Bart that was in a red shirt, then it was bootleg. Like, because if he had a red shirt on the show, but all the merchandising, he always had the blue shirt. So same thing with AC/DC Metallica. There was too much copyright crap to go through, but it also helped them differentiate the bootleg stuff.
Yeah.
It just said rock and death metal instead of AC/DC and Metallica on all the merchandising.
Couldn't get the deals done. No, they couldn't. It was too much
And
hassle.
also it helped with that too, because I think Mike Judge learned that from Matt Groening, that's the best way to suss out all the bootleg shit, because they were losing lots of money on the Simpsons merchandising with the bootleg shit.
I mean, even that stuff was being sold in the stores back in the day. I remember
Exactly.
seeing, like, I'd see the Beavis and Butthead dolls at like Meijer, and they would have like the Rock and Death, whatever. Death,
Yeah, and
whatever.
those were the
Yeah.
actual official ones. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder how much my Beavis
Oh,
and Butthead
God.
comics are worth now.
Mark, you better have gotten the shot of what I'm hoping for to see out of this.
The comics, I don't know. You'd have to go look and see. I don't think they're worth like a shit ton, but
Oh,
Probably a little
bit. Soul Assassin.
He eats the
Surprise
peyote.
Lars Ulrich did go after. Go back 70s. That was a legendary
Oh,
moment.
hang on.
Surprise Lars Ulrich. They got the Beavis and Butthead for the Metallica shirt. Yeah, right.
I gotta
they're
go
Alright.
back.
dying.
Hang on.
You knew that
God
he was
damn it.
essential.
Now, which one are you looking for?
The
Sorry.
Well,
mushroom
wait.
scene.
No,
Right.
well, Raptor, he takes
Oh,
a bite.
right,
You
yeah,
see
hang
the
on.
eagles and the humping. The humping.
Oh, right. You gotta go back. Yeah. Hang on. Let's go back to
Not
here.
far. It was
The
Let's go back to
the
here.
buzzards. I mean,
Yeah, the buzzards doing it.
vultures.
vultures, buzzards, eagle.
Oh God, yeah.
I left.
They're
I still
dying, and
left.
he's like, "This
That's
is one
all-
of the coolest fucking scenes in the movie, though. When he eats the peyote,
Yeah, he just took a bite.
when they have the animation that Rob Zombie directed.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because they originally wanted. This is when once again Rob Zombie is still doing White Zombie, and they originally wanted White Zombie to do the official theme song for this movie. And I can't remember. There was definitely some, I guess you could say, complications that prevented that from happening. But yeah,
They were in the
that's
middle of
originally-
breaking up.
Oh, that could be right, because it was 2 years later when Rob Zombie had put out God, what was that album that had Super Beast on it?
Hellbilly Deluxe.
Hellbilly Deluxe. That
Hellbilly
was
Deluxe,
98.
yeah.
So if this movie came out in 96, yeah. So that was probably what happened. There it is.
Well, I also remember, I don't know that part because I mean, I know of Isaac Hayes. I thought he always wanted Isaac Hayes to do the theme, but like the Shaft theme or whatever. But
the original wanted White Zombie, so they probably ended up getting Isaac
I do
Hayes.
know when they got to this bit though, the inspiration mainly was that, you know, like, because I've mentioned this in other shows. I don't think I mentioned it tonight yet though. Like when this movie first came out, there was a lot of people who had no idea what it was going to be. And the teaser gave you no clue, the original teaser, because all the original teaser is you just heard Beavis and Butthead going, and then all of a sudden it said Hollywood and Butthead just covering up Holly. So it said wood and he goes, wood. That was it. That was the whole trailer. And they're like, next summer, Beavis, or next Christmas, Beavis and Butthead do America. You know, and it's like, that was all we got for the original trailer. And like, people are like, okay, so what are they going to do? And like, even critics and everybody else going, are they going to like cut in music videos? How is this going to work? Because at that time, they only had the episodes, and the episodes were basically 6 or 7 minute stories chopped up with these interstitial music videos. Mm-hmm. So Mike Judge, what he did is, this is how he got a music video in the movie without actually cutting to music video stuff. Because that was his, like, part of the thing was they, like, you know, they can't do that, and it's because it's a movie, it would ruin the flow of the story. But how can we get like a moment in here? And that's kind of what the roller coaster bit is too, kind of a little bit too.
That was a thing they were wondering how they were going to pull off, because they were notorious for having music, you know, dominantly featured in their show. And now here they are having these characters go on an adventure.
Well, there was a lot of people curious. Are they going to be able to work for 90 minutes, right? Like there was a lot of people asking that question. Is this going to last? Are you going to be able to watch this show and be like, after 6-7 minutes, are you going to be able to stand watching Beavis and Butthead without the breaks? Yeah. And that was a big concern for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is so fucking cool.
The music was...
Oh, yeah. He starts tripping on the peyote.
Well, they actually, like I said, they actually had Rob Zombie come in and help design all this shit. So I think he directed this sequence, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he did. You're right. No, he did get involved in the scene. Yeah, they wanted him to go all in for this movie, but unfortunately, they only got the scene, which is still great. Once again, Zombie killed it with this particular sequence.
This is so cool in the theater, too.
God, dude, yep. Oh, I miss White Zombie.
I miss White Zombie too.
Right,
I never got to see them live.
They were kick ass, especially when I remember when I first heard Astro Creep 2000. I'm like, bro, this album is the jam. You put that shit on now, that shit still holds up. It does. It has aged beautifully. That guitar tone.
The first two White Zombie, or at least the two main White Zombie albums that we know, those are great. Yeah, compared to Rob Zombie's later shit. Oh yeah.
I'm not a fan of his solo stuff. Like I bought 2 copies. So I know somebody in the chat said that Hellbilly Deluxe was their first CD. I remember going to Best Buy and picking up that disc when it first came out and finding out that it was edited. It had like some cuss words mixed, cut out of it and stuff.
Oh, you got the edit?
No. I mean, you couldn't get the unedited version unless you went to somewhere like I had to go to.
I think I got mine from Best Buy.
I went to Best Buy, but the unedited one was the one where he had the X in his head.
I know mine. Yeah, and it also had the parental advisory sticker on it.
Every single bit of this artwork should be a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, some great stuff.
Look at that butt.
Everything on here should be a T-shirt.
I know I was kind of pissy, and the only reason I ended up buying Hellbilly Deluxe is because, I mean, yeah, the Dragula song was huge, but I already had the single of that. And, but I went looking for Living Dead Girl because it was the lead song it was the lead song in Bride of Chucky.
Yes.
So I went looking for the Bride of Chucky soundtrack, and I'm like, that fucking song is not on the soundtrack. He's got the one song from White Zombie on there, but not the other one. So I was like, well, fuck. So then I grabbed the album and it's on there. So I ended up having to buy the album. So I was like, just for that song mainly. But see, now those two songs kind of sound the most like their White Zombie shit anyway.
Damn it. Now I'm going to listen to White Zombie like in the morning because seriously, I have to now. Now this got me in the mood. So good.
That second album, though.
Now we go back to reality.
All right. Astro Creep. Yeah. That's the jam. 70s. Tom, we might have to do a White Zombie episode someday. I'm just saying. Dustin, you're in too.
I'm into that.
All right. Killer.
Astro Creep is an album where you can listen to the whole thing from beginning.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm a person that I can't if I can't listen to an album all the way through, I don't like it.
Ooh.
I got used to it. I mean, it used to be that way more so with cassette and record, but when CD came about, it didn't bother me as much. But I did notice that it got to that point where, because I would always listen to every song on there just to see if I liked it, a couple times just to make sure. But like, there's only a few CDs that I could actually listen to all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also when they started putting more songs on albums too, right? Because back then they only had the choice of, we got to cut it down to 7, 8, 9, 10 songs because that's all you can fit on a record album, as opposed to when CDs come out, then they had 15, 20 songs on an album. So there was a lot more throwaway bullshit on albums then.
Well, they also used at the time they used to always record an extra track or two for the imported Japanese release too. That's a very big thing on the market then as well.
And a lot of times what happened is a lot of the B-sides would just wind up on the album then.
Yep.
So you got an album full of crap and some good songs instead of a good solid album.
Really good.
Sometimes, yes.
Megadeth had the exceptional B-sides. It was called Hidden Treasures. They had the Angry Again song. They had the No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh yeah,
cover.
there's some groups and artists who have some famous B-sides. Don't get me wrong, but
have done that over the years.
Diadems was the other song that was on there. I think they covered Black Sabbath Paranoid, which I didn't listen to that because everyone covered Paranoid and their mother.
Mm-hmm.
But the originals Megadeth had on Hidden Treasures were freaking good. It was like they were outtakes from, if I had to guess, probably around Countdown to Extinction. And you're listening, you're like, why the fuck were these songs cut from the album? Because the originals on there were damn good.
Depends on when the album came out, because if it was during the time of
92 was,
I was gonna say if it was pre-CD, then before CD was mainstream, then all albums had to fit on a cassette or a record. Mm-hmm. So, and mainly a record, because a cassette you could add more time to. But
what's the time? What's the time of a record?
Oh,
depending on how you cut it,
20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes aside.
Most of the time, though, you don't want to go over like 15 minutes aside, though. That's
20,
pushing it.
20 is pretty good if you get 20.
Yeah, and that's where you're kind of really pushing it, and it all depends. Like, they were really good back in the day on picking the songs order and where they went on the album to where it fit best. And because there is an actual, like, so if a song is a higher, like, it doesn't have a lot of bass, they'll put that, like, I think it's on the inside, right? 70s. And then if it has more bass and a lot more louder, then they put that on the outside because it has more room, right? Yeah,
it's to do with the
because as the record goes
mastering.
in, you get less room to work with.
Yeah,
so the
right,
sound does get compromised as the record goes deeper into the album. So that's
why
where
you
they had to
also
kind
got
of
you used to get a lot of great B-sides on vinyl singles because they didn't have room for them in albums. So there was some bands had loads of tracks left over. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. You have situations like with Thriller where like certain songs that were ended up being number one hits almost got left off because it was between one song or the other, because it's like, well, this song's a little shorter. Maybe we should put this one on there because then we can get another song instead if you take Thriller off, right? Because Thriller's 6 minutes long. You can fit 3-minute songs where Thriller is. But, so there's those times where they had those drastic choices. There was a famous Fleetwood Mac song that was left off of Rumors. Which one was it? Songbird, wasn't it? Songbird was left off of Rumors, I think, for that. And it was a B-side or a single, and it became a huge
it's
single.
on Rumors now.
It is now, but it wasn't when it originally came out because it got left out.
70 minutes, right?
I am sure because I have an original print without it.
Oh my god, the scene!
As long as secondhand news is on it,
the scene's incredible.
It's insane.
This is great. Just start running when you hit the ground,
dude. They jacked off the trunk.
Yeah,
they jacked it off.
I thought they were going to do a Butch and Sundance jumping off the cliff type thing, but they didn't do that. Slightly different.
No, because Butthead's the smarter one. He knows. Make Beavis try it first, remember?
Yeah.
Yep. He always lets him try it first. And Bruce Willis's character's just driving down the road.
He doesn't
unaware.
see a thing.
I'm gonna kill him.
This poor guy.
Oh,
Dude, look at all that damage. Seriously, this would have been all over. If this were real life, this would have been on the news for like 3 weeks.
This kind of blew my mind, though, jumping from the animated series to the movie, though, because the animation in this movie was much
really
more
good.
elaborate than the TV show. It is.
You can see the jacketing right there. You see the car, the trunk has a hard on in back. You saw the bulge. You saw the bulge, and then it was growing, and they're like, hey, we jacked off in the trunk.
We're jacking off. Fucking 30 car pile.
They've had that in Texas and shit, like when they get a little thin layer of ice and people don't want to drive on it.
Yeah.
And she, of course, is reminiscent of the reporter on King of the Hill too.
A little bit. Well, Mike Judge definitely has
be
a
the
style.
same one. Could be
I
the
love
same
this that
reporter.
they're in the background.
Yeah, I know.
Sir,
Sir,
Chief, look.
There they are. Yeah.
these guys are good. They're so like blown away
I'll
that
be
they
a blue nosed. I love his fucking little sayings. I'll be a monkey's uncle, and all that shit. Or a monkey. I'll be a monkey's uncle's ass, or whatever it was. Yeah. It's always something goofy like that.
G-Peg.
I wonder what they could be up to.
guys,
This is where he
look,
struggles not to use the preposition.
Yeah.
they're storming. This should have been called Beavis and Butthead Storm the Capitol, if you think about it.
Well, Do America just works. I love it.
No, it does work. It's just for comedy purposes.
Because they're in Highland in the show all the time. They never went anywhere.
No,
right?
they're always in Highland. Like their life was the couch.
Travis and Bobhead.
It's that chick.
I'm Bobhead. My first name is
Slut.
Butt.
That's slut.
Cloris Leachman, of course. Very undersung actress and comedian.
Yep. Oh yeah, that was her voice. Yeah.
She's fucking brilliant, man. She was just such a. Is she still with us, or did she pass? I think she passed.
I think she's gone. Yeah.
I thought we just lost her, but
Who
she
was
was one of those that was always
Cloris Leachman,
perpetually
yeah, she
old.
died.
I think she was always
She
perpetually
was.
old, though. Like right, like
She was
like-
always old. Yeah, it was weird.
yeah, like Wilford Brimley, like
Yeah.
just perpetually old.
Diabetes.
Guys,
Diabetes. Yeah.
would Beavis and Butthead be allowed to continue the day that Butthead? Man, that thing's huge. Butthead scores.
Huge.
Would it be allowed to continue? If
They're never going to score, though. That's the whole.
They're never going to score, but if they did, should
Cloris
it be all
Leachman
over?
will always be Frau Blucher in Young Frankenstein.
Yep. And the
Had a
horse
granny,
name,
yeah.
whenever they say her name.
Yeah.
And nobody understanding that
That's
joke that it's about glue.
Yeah, she
That's
had
right.
it in 21, January of 21, at 94.
Damn.
She was 94.
She was,
Wow.
Yeah.
and she worked, I think, up till damn near her death too. She was a hell of a comedian.
She
I always
certainly
loved
was.
she. I loved her in the Beverly Hillbillies, another undersung
Oh yeah, that's right.
remake.
Yeah.
If you ask me, very well cast.
Daisy Mee, Granny, yeah,
Yeah, she played Granny in that.
Granny. Muppet movie. She was in the Muppet movie.
Yep.
Don't you just like how Dallas totally lures Muddy in only to fuck him figuratively? 2 minutes later, oh yeah, we're totally still in love. Oh no, we're not. And and then they get on for the infamous call heard around the entire
It's
conference
really
room.
big hooters.
Everyone's we should all just do that. Could you make an announcement that we're ready to
Now, the two guys that I knew in high school that were just like this, they wore the metal shirts and everything, were potheads. And they would always do that laugh.
Well, that's the thing is Beavis and Butthead have never actually really gotten stoned. I mean, they've sniffed things and they've done things.
Ate peyote.
But just like with sex, I think I just talked about this. I can remember where the other night, but I'm like, I'd love to see an episode of Beavis and Butthead where they actually find a joint and they don't know what to do with it. Right? Like they think they're getting stoned, like they're just
Yeah.
they don't actually know how
really-
to smoke it. And
Yeah. They don't really have access to anything, and they're not smart enough to figure
Exactly.
it out.
They try to buy it and they sell them like oregano and they roll it up and.
But they think they got really stoned. Yeah, that too. Yeah, that's the thing. But Mike, I think he's smart enough to make sure that they never do actually dabble in real drugs, and then will never have sex.
Never
because
knowingly, right?
Then they're always exactly never knowingly. Because then they can perpetually be innocent 15-year-olds. That's the beauty of it. Because that's how they get away with doing and saying what they're doing, right? If it was any other position, like try and picture like Wayne and Garth acting like this, it wouldn't work, right?
No.
Because it come off as
he's traveled
creepy.
100 miles. He's been right.
We've been like 100 miles. Yeah. Hundreds of miles.
You two make me.
That's part of the formula. It's the same thing with South Park. The formula there is that
the kids,
they never pick a side in their writing. They don't pick any group or any belief system's side. That everybody is open to criticism and being made fun of.
Mm-hmm.
And once they change that, like with this, they change that formula. It spoils what they're doing. And the same thing here. They have to be perpetually innocent.
And I think that's part of Beavis and Butthead's charm overall, right? Is that they are so unself-aware, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the kind of that's why they work. I mean, and I know people can find them annoying, and I totally understand that, but to me, their annoyances are what I find charming about them, right? Like, you would think after about 10 minutes of hearing, you get over it, but like one of their best episodes is the episode where they can't stop laughing, and then they get forced to not be allowed to laugh. And of course, it's Sex Education Week of all day.
I
know. One of the greatest Beavis and Butthead episodes of all time. Such a simple fucking premise. And it's built on that one little thing that, you know, either you were annoyed about or never really paid attention to anyway. But it is true. Like, Butthead is definitely like that guy, right? Like that unaware guy who thinks he's this alpha Chad. Mm-hmm. And he works at like the fucking Burger King or whatever down the street. And he's always like, what do you want?
Shoot and kill.
Hey, baby.
I don't want to do work on stuff.
Here we go. He's sugaring up before going into the White House and getting caffeine.
Oh, I love this.
Right
and
before
then he gets
going
into his
the White
underwear
House.
again. He gets into his underwear again, pulls his shirt up, and goes full cornholio.
Here's the coffee cart with the pure raw sugar.
I miss sugar.
Well, you know where, and Mike Judge said this is a real simple thing, right? Like, started as this whole thing where, you know, as a kid, you would kind of do these things like pull your head up over your shirt up over your head and stuff like that. And they were doing it one night in the office and acting goofy. You know, they're like, you know, when you get kind of punchy or whatever, it's late and you're just trying to stay awake and you're doing goofy shit. And they got on the conversation of trying to stay awake. And they're like, you know, they always say that sugar actually doesn't cause hyperactivity. And, you know, that's bullshit. There's no way. Have you seen like a kid who's all fucking sugared up? They're all, ah! So from that, it just kind of grew from this idea of that what would happen if Beavis just got so fucking sugared up and he created this little character and it just kind of grew from there. And it just became like, it became one of the staples, right? I mean, and what's funny is I don't even think Cornholio came into the picture until like the 5th season. It was a very late thing. Yep. Like it was practically brand new when they did this movie. Because I remember there was only like two Cornholio episodes when they did this movie. So at that time, there hadn't even been that many. So, yeah.
We sure miss you, Ike.
But now there's T-shirts everywhere. I'm the Great Cornholio. And yeah.
I need TP for my bunghole.
Oh.
Great Cornholio was the 32nd episode and it was in season 4.
Okay, season 4. Okay, late season 4. Yep. But I do
that
know that by the time the movie came out,
Nixon
there was only like 2 or 3 episodes. But yeah. That is not the painting of him in the White House.
That is not what is in the White House. But
of course not.
It's the same.
But it's perfect for Beavis.
Are you threatening me?
I like when Butthead meets Chelsea, and he's like, "Oh, you got."
God, that's right. This was.
I see you have braces.
Yeah,
I have braces too.
That's right.
Well, that killed it.
Yeah, right.
More sugar.
More sugar.
Yeah, sugar cubes were great. As a kid, we used to love grabbing sugar cubes.
I used to go nuts for the sugar cubes when I was a kid, and I remember like anytime I was at some weird like boomer place when I was a kid, and I'm like, at least I knew there would be sugar cubes, and I didn't drink coffee, but at least I'd be excited for sugar cubes, and I would just eat the sugar cubes.
You can still buy them in the store.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, Mr. Tickle Trunk, the first Cornholio episode is where he walks into the Spanish class. Yes.
Yes.
It starts out where they go to Stuart's house and they drink a bunch of fucking root beer and he gets a bunch of shit out of his cupboard, and then then they go to school and Beavis is just all like,
well, you
Butthead's
know,
like, what is wrong with you?
Really broke the internet at the time. It was just, that's why it's one of the biggest and most memorable episodes. Is it was just something nobody had ever seen before. And
and Mike was smart not to oversaturate it either, right?
Right.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I think there's a total of 5 or 6 episodes altogether. There was only like 2 when this movie came out. After this, I think they did at least 2 more, maybe after this, and then I know there's one definitely in the revival season, which is a 2-part episode, which is actually my least favorite of that revival season, just because it goes on too long.
Well, I've always referred to it as his superpower when he takes sugar and caffeine. He becomes a superhero named Cornholio. Oh my God!
He also seems to get slightly smarter.
Oh, the phone call.
A little bit.
Oh, the phone call. Yes, Mr. President.
Blah, 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 blah.
My bunghole.
Where
does all this come from?
I don't understand what you're saying, sir.
I think he's drunk again, isn't that what?
Oh, Soul Set. I think I think it was on Genesis, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Maybe my memory's off. I think it was on Genesis. I played one of them.
That's where they had the Gore tickets.
Was that what Guar ticket? Yeah, Guar tickets. Oh,
Gore
man.
rules.
Man. Guar. Wow. I will never forget the first time I saw the appearance of Guar. I didn't know it was like a real band. It's kind of like the same way. I didn't know Cannibal Corpse was a real band in Ace Ventura. I just thought it was all a really good joke to sell you on a band. And then you find out, later on in life that these are all real bands. That's not a joke.
I love this.
We were talking about something a minute ago, like how like that was like viral for the internet in 1994. And I'm thinking to myself, I didn't have internet for like another 2 years.
Beavis and Butthead GIFs and sound effects were some of the first things I remember downloading. Like, and it sounded like shit. You had like 8-bit, like, that was cool, but it like sounded really bad, like stuff like that. So
before E-Bombs World and soundboards.
That was cool.
Like that. It was like really horrible. And like Monty Python noises and shit. But like,
because I didn't get internet at my house until AOL went unlimited in 96.
You had 96. We were 97. I remember 97 because I remember they had, I think it was like AOL 4.0 at the time. And then we got 5.0 and they turned out it was faster than ever. It was actually slower than ever. And then the cycle started. Faster than ever, but even more slower than before. And the cycle kept repeating. We kept getting
the busy signals.
The back of his teeth.
That was my deal. Like the busy signals, like you would always try to find new numbers trying to call because they couldn't install enough lines for how many people were trying to be on the internet.
The sounds of dial-up.
Oh, dude. Nothing like trying to talk to some girl in a chat room and your stuff just kills it. And you're like, no, and like you spend 20 minutes trying to dial back in.
It's like, Ma, get off the phone.
Dial-up nearly destroyed the world in war games. If it's good enough for war games, it's good enough for anybody.
Hey guys,
AFK.
Age, state,
56K modem.
Can I just score?
Age, sex, location.
Yeah, age, sex, location. That's what it was.
But I mean, I saw Dumb and Dumber in the theater. I saw Tommy Boy in the theater, and at that time, those are probably 2 of the funniest movies of that era. I don't remember laughing as hard as I did at this movie. Right? Like me and my buddies went to see it, and we were just fucking losing it. We went to see it the first showing Friday afternoon, the day it came out, and it was just, I couldn't stop laughing through the whole fucking thing. I think we went back and seen it like later that same weekend because we missed half the movie from laughing through most of it.
You've got male guy, KR Nut. He actually he's become a successful. He became a successful porn spam. He gave a successful Uber driver, actually.
I still have my AOL email address from 1996.
Oh my! You should try.
I know. I sent you an email 18 years ago, and I'm still waiting for a reply.
Well, you know,
You can't run from your own
Bruce
buggy.
Campbell's personal email is AOL. I won't tell you what it is.
A lot of
but-
people do have an
It's
AOL.
Bruce
so, yeah.
Campbell at AOL.com.
I don't
Nope.
use it anymore,
Nope.
but I mean, because it's
Ooh,
almost
chubba chop
100. It's like 1,000% spam, but you know, which is good that I still had it because we went to Vegas in 2012, and a friend of mine made the booking reservations and sent them to my AOL email, and I'm like, you know how lucky you are? I still have that.
Yeah.
Oh, and Rutger Hauer's
Hotmail still
email
exists.
was AOL. It was Fartvilla at AOL. I can say it now because he's passed away.
Have you still got Hotmail? Does that exist?
I still use Hotmail.
Yes,
yeah.
That's so.
Hotmail still exists. Yeah.
I still have my
Through Microsoft.
Yahoo. I still have my Yahoo email.
I still have a Yahoo and a Hotmail.
I've got a
yeah.
Yahoo. Yeah.
I only use my Yahoo really for personal stuff.
Well, I
I have a
started using.
Gmail.
I started you have a Gmail. I finally added a Proton Mail recently after years of Yahooing, and I'm
Your
like,
own domain name.
I just did that yesterday. Yahoo.
Get your own domain name. You can administer your own email.
I'm the veteran of 2 foreign wars.
God damn it.
Bobby. Oh,
What was that about Charlie Sheen?
Let me go back to that. You guys both said that.
Yeah.
Duh, winning. You win there. You win there.
Tiger's milk.
Tiger blood.
No, it's Tiger's milk.
Tiger's milk. What?
I never had a Netscape email.
Dude, I remember there was a slushy machines in my area when he said that, and they were selling Tiger blood as a slushy. I'm like, oh my god, I have to buy Tiger blood. I mean,
What did it taste like?
Oh, it was really good.
It's
dude.
like a cherry kind of like, because we used to have like, I remember when like Hawaiian Island ice kind of came out, like whatever that like
Shaved ice, yeah.
Yeah, they would put like you have to get that big plastic cone, and they'd put the paper cone inside, and they would like put a scoop of vanilla ice cream in the bottom. Then they would just load it up with this huge mountain of like shaved ice or whatever. You get to pick like 2 or 3 flavors. Everyone would do Tiger's blood because why not?
It's freaking Tiger blood, man. I mean, duh, winning.
Yeah, we still have a place down the street like it's like it's called the Ice Barn. It's like a little like thing, like a little camper that they sell that shit out of.
Hey, Che is here. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, Gavatino Che? Gutsy77, welcome. As we talk about Beavis and Butthead Do America, the near end of it where everything climaxes. Oh, yes.
Somebody asked how many discs did AOL send out? What they like actually there was a point in time where no other discs were manufactured except AOL discs. Like all the companies only made AOL discs. They were sending them out so heavy. Like I was a subscriber and had been for years and would get weekly discs, 400 hours this month or whatever it was, you know?
We'll get you whatever you want. Let's give us a big dick building. We'll be good. We'll be long, hard, and strong forever. Oh man, this once again, Mike Judge knows how to end a movie. He knows how to get to the finish line, and he doesn't overstay his welcome with either movie. Like I remember, like not just being blown away by Do America, and of course now Do the Universe. I'm like, wow, like these stories feel perfectly timed, and I can't imagine he must not cut a lot out because it feels like these movies are very tightly written, and I don't know if you want to say recorded or colored or what's the right word, Gary or Tom, but
well, animated
like
movies are generally
scripts.
Animated movies are generally pre-edited.
Okay.
Like you kind of have, this goes for just about all of them. Like you just kind of have to, you have no time to animate something just to have it deleted. So if something is going to get deleted 9 times out of 10, it gets deleted in the early on editing process.
Because they do
Yeah,
the
because
voiceover
it's fully
first.
storyboarded. Animation is something that it requires being fully storyboarded. And what ends up happening is your American studio is what they do is it's like animatics, and then they turn it over usually somewhere in the Asia. They deliver their version of the film to them, and they have what are called tweeners, and they're the ones who do the movement illustrations. So what you actually have is almost like storyboard art, high quality storyboard art, and then the tweeners go in and do all the animation in between those clips. And it's just like an animatic or a previs animatic. So you don't see much in animated films getting cut. You really don't. It's that well pre-planned.
Damn. Well, I guess Judge was.
And
just
so in other
good
words,
at
I'm
that.
telling you, Tom is 100% right.
All right, I follow. I do follow. No, that's awesome. I mean, I guess we need more animation than the future. I mean, we get a good amount of it nowadays. We just get more. That's what it needs to take to have a tight story. I'm in, man. I want more animation, especially like if we were to get stuff that is coming out. Like, you don't have to worry about the budget or the CGI looking bad. You just gotta make sure the animation looks good. Better that than the animation. Like, we could get a better She-Hulk nowadays if we had an animation that we did a CGI of a 5'2" lady playing She-Hulk. Oh, look, he got the unit on his head. Guys, who wants to see my unit?
G-Unit.
Oh, G-Unit. Gun it. I remember showing I remember one of my friends' uncles originally thought they were called the Gun It. Well, I'm like, have you ever heard these all the Gun It? I'm like, no, they're called G-Unit. He's like, oh fuck. Total boomer moment being the unit. I mean, I was gonna call him the unit, but the Gun It. Guys, such a historical moment. Makes me comment. I think Chris Mead has been asking me to do that for a Toxic Tuesday. I still have not seen Fire and Ice. I still have not. So.
What is Fire and Ice?
Great fucking movie. It's an animated sword and sorcery movie.
And there's been rumors that they're considering remaking it.
Well, I think Robert Rodriguez at one time was talking about doing it live action. But the original
Sarah
was
brought
directed
it up too when she was on the show, Sarah Frazetta. And she was talking about that. And by the way, you guys got to get her on sometime. She's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah, because it was based on Frazetta's art, and it was directed by Bakshi, though, wasn't it?
Ralph Bakshi. That's right.
Yeah,
Ralph Bakshi was a big part of the documentary Painting with Fire about Frazetta's life. And I think it was even brought up in there, the interest in doing a sequel. But I think what's been going on is just simply a straight across remake with even better animation.
All right, Soul Assassin, thank you for letting us know. I guess I'm going to, remove
what's free on there.
I'm assuming he's talking about Fire and Ice, since that's what we are on.
Well, if you guys have never seen it, go look up the Painting with Fire documentary about Frank Frazetta.
Ooh, I guess
we're actually going to be having her back on and surprise her with my buddy Drew Blair, America's #1 airbrush artist, because he took a photo of her when she was little with her dad.
Oh, wow.
And so he's a surprise guest for her.
Nice. Dude, that's they want to see my unit.
I know, look at that.
I admit it. I figured you wrong. Oh, Joe's Ennis. Yeah, welcome back, Joe. We're still going long, hard, and strong all up in here.
Even though it's almost about to end.
Yeah, right? Just catch the replay. This country owes you a debt. And all they wanted was a TV. Guys, just remember, if suicidal tendencies only wanted a Pepsi, all these guys wanted to do a score and have a TV. And now they will not be recognized as heroes for their heroicness.
And if you find the moment when Tom talks about his unit on the show, when you go back to replay, let me know. You win a free art print.
Hey guys, you guys are very
Very
I
short
had
minute.
sexual relations with that girl.
on behalf of our fellow Americans. I mean, I'll extend my deepest
Yeah, it
thanks.
is pretty cool.
You exemplify
Wasn't me.
a fine new crop of young Americans.
Okay. Oh, Esau's just here. What's up, man?
Oh, he is here.
I haven't seen you in a while, dude.
To exemplify who will grow to the leaders of this great country. Well, they did become astronauts, so that was actually kind of prophetic.
Yes.
That was kind of prophetic, so he was right. He was right. Recognition.
Oh, who
for
went to
your
space
great
first?
service.
Beavis and Butthead or The Simpsons?
Oh, Simpsons.
Simpsons by far.
Yeah,
Did they?
Simpsons.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Homer went. Well, I don't know about the rest of Simpsons, but Homer went in space.
It was
pretty
just
early on
it
in
was
the show.
Homer. Yeah.
Did they
Homer.
beat Family Guy though? Because Family Guy also went to space.
Simpsons did it. Literally.
I mean,
Simpsons
with
did it
Beaver,
first.
Beaver and Cuntis.
Beavis and Butthead didn't go to space until Do the Universe, the new movie.
No.
As far as
the
I
new-
remember.
yeah.
Homer did that
They're way behind in
episode.
the game.
Homer did that. There's that episode where Homer became an astronaut and he opened that bag of chips and like, careful.
Oh
they're
God,
Ruffles.
That was
And
way
then
early
he's
on.
like,
That was I say that was like third or
"Oh,
fourth
take
season,
it."
maybe a
He
little
does
later.
that
But
Back when you were
spin.
still funny. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh man, that was such a great episode. I love that episode. I actually have
they actually had
voice
real
set of
astronauts
that.
doing their voices and shit on there.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go get my toy set I have of that episode. I have I still have in the box, but it's of the characters on that episode. But yes, we never scored or got any money.
I like that they finally find their TV, and that's the end, the glorious end, and they walk into the sunset. And
Think we'll ever score.
you won't, but I probably will.
I have my butt stuff.
Trick with the braces. Oh God, no.
My butt's
no.
still sore. Butthead, look.
The TV.
Yes.
Of all the things they got back, they got the TV back.
They got their own
It's all-
broken TV back.
Broken TV.
And of course, he
Well,
makes
that's part of
Beavis
the plot
carry
of the
it.
new movie too. The TV.
Partially, yes.
Yes.
Well, and as I joke, is that the new movie is the same plot as the first movie. It's just, and the only reason they go to space is just to have an excuse to get him to 2022. Let's be real. 'Cause that's only a small part of the movie. So
yeah. Touching. You're too much of a butt monkey.
One thing I don't miss
Damn.
about Beavis and Butthead being extremely popular is everybody doing ridiculously awful impressions of Beavis
Like me?
and Butthead. Well, I mean, not just like your parents and shit, like, or like your aunts and uncles will be like, ha, 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 I love Beaver and Bunghole. Like, oh my god,
What do you mean?
because you're trying to gatekeep your favorite show.
Yeah, of course. Beaver and Bum.
I like Beaver and Cuntis. I think that works.
Beaver and Cunnilingus.
What am I doing?
Hey, what happened to you?
I don't know. There we go. Let me go. All right. So, chat, you know the ritual by now. Boosh McFan already got it going. Get the scores going, and I'm gonna go get that Simpsons set real quick.
Tickle Trunk likes your impressions, Tom.
Richard Linklater. Seen him before.
Come with me.
And there was probably no post scene credits or anything like
There
that. right?
was not that I recall.
Lesbian seagull.
All right, I'm gonna come. I got it.
come with me,
Richard Linklater did have a voice.
lesbian seagull.
Come with
Yeah, I like
me.
Richard Linklater. It's funny that he was
Isn't that
involved.
our Linklater's cousin?
I don't know. It could be.
He has it. Yeah. See, that's it. He practices a lot of them, so it's hard for him to do about them because he's practicing them so often. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I've been doing Beavis and Butthead since I was a kid, man.
it shows.
There's something
Careful
you
how
don't
you
see
say
anymore. Cell, yes,
Careful
cell
how you say
painters. No
So
shit.
you're
man.
saying you've been doing 2 15-year-old boys.
No.
Oh,
And here you go. Here you go. Look at all these names. the
Korean-
key animators
all
are
Koreans.
also called tweeners.
Yep.
They're the ones who take the still frames that were sent to them and create the tween animation between each frame. And for this, as you said, because I looked it up and you're absolutely right, it's 24 frames on this one.
Most films are, right? Like, but the cartoons at the time, especially with
TV,
TV, like that was the whole thing. And that's what was my point, is they do it on the halves usually, or on the
Okay,
twos,
here we go.
as they would call it.
Hallucination sequence, Rob Zombie.
Yep. Based on artwork by and all that shit.
That's one of the things I like about Disney Plus is like a lot of the Disney movies, they'll have deleted scenes, so to speak, but they're like basically a little bit of audio, like a little bit of like the voiceover work, but it's all like the what do you call the storyboards.
That's kind of the process, right? They'll do the story. They'll come up with a very loose storyboarded version of the story. Then they'll sit down. They'll have the actors record their lines. Then they'll put together those loose storyboards with the lines, and then they'll sit down and watch that version of the movie, and they sit down and decide what it is they can cut from that, and then they go from there and actually go to the storyboarding
where
process.
all the editing takes place.
Exactly.
Right there.
Exactly. Yep.
Holy
Then it goes
shit.
to pencils, and then from pencils it actually goes to
You
cell.
kind of learned that. What was that movie, Shrek?
Kinda, yeah.
That showed some of the early storyboard stuff where they would act out the scenes, and they would decide in those meetings what's going in and what isn't.
Good. You just watch a making of a Pixar movie too, because they're really good at throwing shit out.
Yep.
Like if you want to see them go through and just like completely demolish a story 20 times over before they finally get to the one that they want, they're good examples of it.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, they've actually almost completely animated Toy Story 2 and threw it out and started over.
Holy shit. I love
great
Toy Story
expense.
too. Wow.
Well, that was because it had a tumultuous ride to the screen anyway, because originally it was going to be straight to video. They almost lost the movie because somebody hit a wrong keystroke and started deleting all the characters from the main hard drive. So animators were sitting there working on the movie, and all of a sudden Woody's hat would disappear, and then a complete model would disappear, and then where are they going? And they were deleting the main files. They didn't know what the hell to do. Well, luckily there was somebody on the crew who was pregnant and had been working from home, so they had all that shit backed up on their home computer. So they had this big deal where they brought the computer in like it was a bomb, treated it like a baby just to get it in there to reload all the lost material, only for them to decide, you know what, this movie is too good, we can do better. So they scrapped it and started all over again with the same basic concept, but then it became the movie we have now, right? And it was so good that Disney decided they were going to release it in theaters instead.
I think the second was the last one I saw before 4. I think I saw 1.
The third
3,
one's
2,
good.
4.
Well, 1, 2, and 3 are a perfect trilogy. 4 shouldn't exist.
I liked 4.
What I liked is the bloopers that they did.
They cut the one from Stinky Pete, though.
Which one?
If you come to my trailer, girls, I can get you a part in Toy Story 4.
Oh.
Or Toy Story 3 or whatever it is. Yeah, Toy Story 3.
All right, guys.
The astronaut. Oh, Deep Space Homer.
Yep. Yep. But
so 94, yeah, that'd have been season 4 or 5. Yep.
When Barney was he was supposed to originally be the one who would be the astronaut, but he was too much of a drunk. So yeah, and look, they have the original air date too, the episode number proper, Deep Space Homer. Yeah, you got
That's
this.
awesome.
Oh, dude, yeah, I love this thing. This is one of the few things I've not taken up box. Usually,
I want like the first 10, 15 seasons of The Simpsons completely remastered, unaltered. Just give them to me. I don't care after that.
I know, seriously, that came out like a Blu-ray collection, unaltered, of course, dude. Gotta be unaltered, and I would be all in.
Same thing with Beavis and Butthead.
All right, for real. I'd even do the universe if it came out on Blu-ray.
Oh, I can't wait till it does. I hope it does.
Oh, better.
So who here has actually seen do the universe besides me and I think Nick?
I've seen it. What are you talking about? I talked on your
oh, that's right. Yeah, you did too.
On Midnight's Edge, and some guy tried to shut me down when I showed a fuck up that they did in the animation.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like,
there was a
fuck
few
off.
fuck ups. There was a few.
But that was
fuck-ups.
like that one. I like, what did I just see? And I went back and I'm like, oh my god, they completely forgot to add the filter. And
well, and the shadow or the shading was completely off. Yeah, it was off by like
that
an
one
inch.
it was supposed to be a highlight, but it looked like shading because the front of their faces
or highlight.
The screens was dark, but then there was this blob in front of them of color, and it's like
there's a couple of shots I picked. They were rushed. Also in the scene where they're outside the ship looking in at the chick because they think she wants them to see him. You can see through the ship. You can see Beavis and Butthead through the ship.
Yeah,
like they didn't do the opacity right or whatever. Yeah.
You know, absolutely, it was clear they were rushed to get this thing done.
I love this. I love to do the universe though.
So good.
That was the reason I asked.
Boosh, it was on Paramount Plus.
I think everyone on the panel has seen it. Everyone on the panel has seen it. So yeah,
because I have Paramount Plus, and I love watching the stuff that I promote and support. And that's one of them I got excited about. I'm like, oh my god, they're bringing it back.
I don't think Shelly's seen it. What was that?
I haven't seen the new one.
Oh, no, dude.
I just realized it was out just a couple of days ago. I'm probably going to watch it the next couple of days.
Dude, you have to. It's so good. Seriously.
Have you seen the trailer yet even?
I haven't seen the trailer. I knew it was coming out. I just didn't know.
Should we show the trailer?
Have you smelled it at least?
Have you smelled it?
I mean, unless he doesn't want to see the trailer.
I'd be glad. Let's do it.
I'll bring
while
it up
we're
here.
here. Okay.
I mean, even I've seen the trailer. Gosh.
I just saw the trailer for the Predator movie, Prey, today.
Oh God.
That actually looks good.
You think
it
so?
would if it wasn't during the woke times.
The woke times. It sounds like something from Mad Max. Back in the olden days, in the woke times.
There was a time where everyone was woke.
In the Never Land.
All right. This one, how is Paramount with their trials? Do we have to?
They didn't nail me.
I've gotten ganked for it once.
They didn't nail me for the other trailer, but I don't know if they will for this one.
We should probably pause like what every
couple times,
seconds,
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Okay, let's do every 10 seconds. All right.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7.
Oh, they're counting for
6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Pause.
1, 0. Ignition.
Okay. Outer space stuff. Coolness.
And look at the quality of the art here compared to what we're used to on Beavis and Butthead.
It's a lot smoother.
It is very
Cleaner.
Smooth.
Edges is nice and even.
They do try to emulate a little bit of the old animation, but
no, it's still recognizable.
The characters were like the older animation, just when you saw them walking there.
No, the animation, it's smoother, but it's not to the point where it changes so much that you're unrecognizable. It changes enough where it makes the show look better, but doesn't changes to the point where you don't recognize it. Right off the bat, this is still Beavis and Butthead, and that's ultimately they achieved the balance with this one. All right, carry on.
Play it.
This came out before my birthday. Wow.
Yeah, it's been out for almost a month.
The Earth sucks.
The Earth sucks.
The Earth sucks.
I've said that for years that I don't.
Yeah, we've been
gravity.
saying that
I
for
just
years.
think the Earth sucks.
Oh man, Beavis and Butthead, the Earth sucks.
See, your voice is natural to do his voice because you're tonally very close.
Damn it, Beavis.
Oh man,
I
those
think the floor is
O-rings.
not working.
Okay, what part of getting ready for sex is this? The part where your face hurts.
You say the floor's not working. The floor's not working.
Yeah, the floor's not working.
And the tree.
Look at that number up there on the billboard.
So of course this is how they get him to 2022.
69.
Yeah.
A 2, and then kind of circle.
No, dumbass, not that number. That one. 69.
There's still Beavis and Butthead.
This show sucks. It's like just these fat people standing there.
Hey, Cornholio! I need TV for my bunker!
Who are you, fart knockers?
Amusing, yes.
Yes, humorous, yes.
Satirical comment on the time.
Yes, amusing.
That was one of the best parts too, with their alternate universe selves.
The Watcher. They're told obviously it's the Watcher's
Yeah.
spiel. Yeah. No.
I'm a deer.
Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe.
Yeah. So there you go, man.
Controversial opinion, but
I hope
think it's a
you're
better
sold.
movie than the first one.
I don't know if I'd say it's better, but I'm liking it. I like it more the second time I saw it, so I'm curious.
It's newer, so I'm gonna like it more.
That's possibly what it is. You know, just it's because it's newer. Yeah.
No, but for real though, like when you watch it, you're just it just felt so damn good to watch it. I'm just like, all right, rewatches, and it's seriously, the movie's awesome, and it's nice because we've had a good string of good movies lately, and this just adds to it, dude. Like I can't wait for you to watch Do the Universe.
Well, they just bashed the shit out of woke culture, right?
Oh yes.
Oh boy, like no,
There's
like
a
no
scene
tomorrow.
where they just demolish it.
I need to watch Fire and Ice. Hey, Dustin needs to watch Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. The deal is done. The die has been cast. We now know what.
It's Isaj's birthday. In the chat.
Isaj's birthday?
Yeah.
Well,
happy
Isaj, Merry
birthday.
Birthmas.
Well,
Thank you
happy
for hanging out
birthday,
with
Isaj.
us on
Happy
your
coming
birthday.
into existence day.
Yeah, right.
We're honored. We're celebrating it with you, my friend.
I don't know what it is with Beavis' voice. It sounds like Beavis to me.
He's a little older, but he's doing a pretty good job.
Mecha
still
J's
think it
got a
sounds
good
like him.
idea, Nick, and he's super.
At least
All
you're
right,
not
yeah, I
doing
have it highlighted.
the wrong Muppets where you've got these new voice actors that don't sound right.
Okay.
I think this is a good idea.
Mecha J for $5 says next movie idea, Beavis and Butthead.
That's
Do the
kind of what this
Multiverse.
one is already, in a way.
Yeah, it's a little bit of it, but it could do more, maybe.
Because there is a multiverse in it. That's right.
Well, there is actually a movie that we missed in between these movies that was almost, it was pretty far into production, but ended up getting scrapped. I don't know if you guys know about this. It was called Beavis and Butthead Do the World. They go on like a
I wish they would
all over
release
the
that
world. Yeah,
is what they have. Because I'd love.
well,
to see
it became. I don't think Mike was ever too happy with it because it was being forced upon him to do because it was part of his contract, and that's where he had a big fallout between that. And there was a couple other things that MTV did with the characters he wasn't happy about. He was never too keen on the whole Daria show either, because that's the thing. MTV owned Beavis and Butthead outright.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, when they finally cut a deal when they did that 2011 series, so now Mike Judge owns 50% of them.
That's good.
So that series took care of
50
their
or
whatever.
51%. Because if it's 50, then nobody has controlling interest in it.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 thing with Paramount, I guess.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I mean, I'm sure. Well, how much can they really do without him, right? So it's kind of a. I mean, if anything, you could say he probably has the more controlling. I mean, clearly, when you see the movie, they didn't get involved. Nobody
that's
got involved.
That's him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so in that respect, yeah. So.
All right. Anyways, thank you for the $5, Mecha J. I appreciate it. I'm gonna blaze through these scores here. Bush McFadden, 8 itchy bungholes out of 10 for toxicity. 10 out of 10 overall. I rewatched this so many times. Joe's Atmosphere, movie and toxicity at 10. Rob Altus, toxicity, 8 overall, 10. Mecha J, the 9 out of 10. KR Nut, 82, 8 out of 10. Toxicity overall, 10. Nut. Soul Assassin, 9 out of 10 units of awesome. 10 out of 10 lesbian seagulls of toxicity. Then Mass Grief, 10 out of 10 funny. 8 out of 10 toxic. In fact, compared to Team America, not nearly as obviously offensive, just silly and immature. All right. Good observation. Cavitano Che, 9 out of 10 buttheads of glory and 7 out of 10 Bamish flushes of toxicity. You guys are hilarious with these comments. Oh man, no, thank you guys for your scores. I do appreciate it, and we'll start off with 70s. Go ahead and be the first to tell the people your
Well, let me tell you, laddies, it was great. I loved
Jeez,
it.
a break, man. I'm gonna commit some
If
multi
it's not
on you.
Scottish, it's crap.
I'm gonna ram it right up your arse. He said arse.
I love you.
It's not quite as toxic as I recall when I watch it again. I'd say it's probably in the sort of 7 out of 10 range for toxicity. I think. I think it's really kind of more schoolboy toxicity than hardcore toxicity like Team America. So I'll give it 7 out of 10 for toxicity, and I'm more of a South Park guy. So I'll give it 7.5 out of 10 as a movie.
Booting.
It's
Booting
good.
right now. Booting.
It's still a good score. 7.5 out of 10.
It is a good score, but I don't know if I can forgive you for this low score. So I might have to sue you.
It's not low. It's
a score.
0.5 points above average.
I'm just fucking with you. You're good, dude.
Yeah, it's
You're
good, but you know, I like the
You're
second one
good.
better. That's funnily enough. But, yeah.
Yes. All right. Anyway, Shelly Backy. Earth to Shell.
Oh man. Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Unfortunately, yes.
You shut up. Freaking Mr. South Park. Whatever.
Yes.
There would be no South Park without Beavis and Butthead.
This is true.
Well, what is it? The toxicity level and the
and then greatness score.
Oh, well, unfortunately, I'm probably right along with with Scotty there, and like a 7.5, out of 10
score
on toxicity. But overall, I'm gonna give it a 9.9 because I just want to always leave a little bit of room for improvement. So
that's what she said. What? That's what she said.
That's what she said.
I know. Anyways, carry on.
That's it.
All right.
7.5 and a 9.99.
7.5 and a 9.99. And Tom.
Yeah, I'm kind of with the whole idea that this movie isn't really that toxic per se, because even Beavis and Butthead themselves, as toxic as they kind of act, when they actually talk to women, they don't really act all that toxic, right? They try to act all smooth and debonair. So to them, they're not really being toxic, but even though it comes off that way, the humor is in that. So they themselves, I don't think are that toxic. I don't think the movie itself is overtly toxic. So I'd say like a 5 out of 10. The movie itself is a perfect film. It's a brilliant film, a classic from the 90s, a 10 out of 10. It surprised the hell out of me. I was a huge fan. I was worried it was going to suck, and it delivered. Mike Judge is a brilliant writer, creator. Can't say enough good things about this movie. So yeah, I'm glad Beavis and Butthead are back, and I'm glad we're celebrating the 50th episode of Toxic Tuesday with Beavis and Butthead.
I'm thankful too, Tom. We're gonna celebrate more Buttheads together.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Dustin, final thoughts on Beavis and Butthead Do America?
Well, I think toxicity. I think I'm kind of in the middle between like a 7.5 and an 8. So probably 7.5 right there. Because I mean, it's really not toxic like everybody says. I mean, it's just like middle school, early high school toilet humor. So I don't really think it's that bad. And I think the overall score is going to be like a 8.5, 9. And I think the score is a 1 because there was only one person who scored in the whole movie. So, I mean, our main protagonists, our main guys didn't score.
They didn't score.
Unless you count a deep body cavity search.
I mean, I'm sure that felt amazing.
He was unsure. It was a possible score.
Like, did I score? I mean, haven't we all kind of woken up like the next day and been like, did we score? Or is that just me?
That's just you.
Thank you, Dustin.
Actually, I agree with that.
Move on. Just move on.
You son of a bitch.
Nick, move on.
So the wee Dodger. I agree with Dustin on this one, and Tom. Actually, everybody is pretty much nailed it. That it's not really toxic. I'd put it between a 5 and 6 for toxicity because it's just juvenile humor. What you would see in middle school with kids. But I mean, I called a kid a dildo and didn't even know what a dildo was back in middle school. I got called out for it too because the kid goes, "You don't even know what a dildo is," and I like pointed at the kid. I called it. I said, "Yeah, I do. There it is." And then like after everybody left, I turned to one of my buddies. "What's a dildo?" "I don't know what it is." And then we found out what it is, and we were like, "How does this exist? Why is this? Why I don't what?"
Where can I get one? Was your next question?
Yeah, sure. Backdoor Gerry. And but I agree. I give it a 6 out of 10 on the toxicity. Absolutely 8 out of 10 on the animation because I thought it was better animated than the series. And then of course for the writing, geez, man, this guy nailed it with that. It's a good story. It's fun. The humor, it's structurally correct. I gave it a straight out 10 out of 10 on that one. It's a perfect adult cartoon.
All right, you heard him. It's a perfect adult cartoon. I'm gonna go with this camera's all weird and fucking bipolar, but I'm gonna go with a 7 for the toxicity. 7 because they
Well, that's it. I'm done here, Nick.
I know. Get the fuck out. I'm gonna go with 7. They just talk about Bob all the time, so that's like amazing. So that's 7, and that's for the movie. I'm gonna go with a 9.9 on this one. I freaking love this movie, and I have watched it again and again, and I will continue so until sometime between now and my death, because it's that damn good. And I think Do the Universe will have many more rewatches as well. So that's it for the scores. And guys, we're going to plug in our plugs. So, Gerry, plug your channel plug first.
Pop Culture Minefield. Look it up on Google, and it goes straight to us. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be talking about ufology and Skinwalker Ranch. Thursday, we're going to have former Las Vegas federal prosecutor joining us, and it's going to be a regular thing every Thursday where he talks about some of the crimes that he investigated and prosecuted. And then Friday is going to be one of our standard TGIFs. And Saturday is going to be typical Saturday morning fun time. And that's pretty much it.
All right, kill it.
Join me in the morning for coffee.
You heard it, sir. And Anthony finishes his cup. So he doesn't fill the cup, he empties the cup.
Yes.
Well, sir, thank you for being here. Glad to have you back.
Me too. I missed you guys.
We missed you a lot. Like a lot.
Don't get gay. Come on.
Like,
too late.
Don't make this uncomfortable.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
High 70s, the man who kept the big
hello
visuals alive. Thanks to Mark D the C as well. So tell us about where you're gonna slide into our lives.
He wasn't here. I did it all. No, thank you to Mark. Thank you to the chat. It's been another fantastic night in the chat. I have my little channel, That 70s Rock Fan. I'm now up to 495 subscribers. I need someone to push me over the edge, over 500, so that YouTube can take away 100 once I get over that.
Right.
Get it over with as quickly as possible. And for me, a furious rate of production in the last few days. 3 new videos up. So, all of differing topics and subjects. So, but next Monday will be my regular every second week. It's only Talk and Roll, 2 p.m. Pacific. And I've been kicking around with my panelists what we should do. And I think, given this, that last episode was the movie Outland, and it actually was a really, really good show, and has had probably the most views of any of my live shows. Somebody suggested, why don't you do Zardoz, the Sean Connery movie? So Zardoz it will be. God knows how that's going to turn out. But so those who haven't seen the movie will have an opportunity to watch it, and we're going to talk about it on Monday. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
So look forward to that.
Wait a minute. Are you going to be on it?
Yes, I'm going to cosplay it as well.
Okay, I don't know how much fun that's going to be.
All right. All 70s, as always, sir. It's good to have you on.
Well, thank you for letting me slide in there.
I like it when you slide. You got a great slide. Dustin, give us your sliding technique.
Okay, so I slide in like this, and so big updates to everybody that's been following. As of July 4th, my channel Keto Simple is monetized, and I've made like $18 American, and I'm coming up on 2,000 subscribers. I've got like 1986, so I'm coming up into the good years. I've been slacking the last couple of weeks on getting content out. It was my birthday, and then we were out of town for the 4th of July, and then that led way to me just being like bleh, and not caring, and then so I'm trying to get back into the swing of being vigilant and putting out 2 to 3 videos a week. So I just launched a video an hour before this stream, so instead of the morning. But yeah, Keto Simple, keto recipes, food reviews, all that fun stuff.
I'd love to. I'm going to check your channel out. That sounds awesome.
Dude, seriously.
I eat a lot of keto.
Oh, there you go. Get on it, Gerry.
Awesome, dude.
Well, that's how I lost all that weight, was going keto.
Nice. So how much weight did you lose?
Right now I'm at 300.
You've lost 300 pounds?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was all from just shitting.
Because I started at 421 and I'm right around 300. I got down to like 275, and then the pandemic and not going anywhere and just.
I was 650 when I started, but I'm 6'3", so I wear it like I'm 400. But it was 650 pounds, and I'm down to 370 right now.
You're nowhere near as cuddly as you used to be.
This has been very romantic. I felt the bond between Dustin and Gerry for a second.
Shut up, man. We're talking. Shut up.
Pinot and vegan, Darius.
So do you prefer Pinot Grigio or do you like Pinot Noir?
He likes Pinot, whatever.
As long as it's got Pinot in it, I'm good.
I'm talking about you, Gerry.
It's all about the peen.
I mean,
all about the peen.
Peen's good.
Peen is good, especially peen coming from you boys.
The peen is my.
Are you starting to feel awkward, Dustin? That he was just lingering on you.
I don't feel. I mean, I'm not a person who feels awkward anymore. I mean, I'm just not. I don't think you can and be like on YouTube and shit.
True, that's true.
You have to compartmentalize that, and if you're going to be awkward, I'm sitting here moving my hands like people can see me. But yeah. Anyways,
thank
you for
Hi,
listening.
Shell. Oh,
that's
of
my
course.
TED Talk.
My pleasure.
Anyway, I'm here to tell the audience and anybody else that watches this on the replay to be on my bandwagon of keto is a nasty 4-letter word. It reeks of communism and Marxism and every other ism. Give me my sugar, give me my fat, give me my gluten.
You can have all the fat you want. Nice big American ribeye.
I was gonna say there's a lot of fat actually in keto. I even though I don't eat it, I do know enough about that. Dustin's speaking facts. There's a lot of very fat filled food keto. But anyways, you're saying
just the stuff that I want the stuff that's not in the keto diet. So
okay.
So there.
Okay.
And plus, anybody that anybody named Gary that spells it.
Oh my God! Fuck you, Shell. You son of a bitch. You motherfucker.
I mean, the other guy
love
gets a
you too,
pass
Shell.
because of the awesome beard, but anyway, you can also find me doing stuff on my channel on Mondays, because I did some cultural appropriation and kind of stole the title to Comics Division's stream, Yelling at Parked Cars. But then I slapped the word warm up on the end of it, and I do it like an hour before, or the hour before his show comes on Mondays. And it's it's the same thing, talking about current events. And last week, we talked about how awesome corn pop is and stuff like that. But other than that, sometimes on Tuesdays, you can catch me hanging out with Drew on his United Resistance show, and then on Sundays I hang out with Culture Casino on his Sunday Culture Review. So
cool.
Check those out. And
all right.
I'm kind of in the same neighborhood as the Scotch guy. I'm like
Scotch guy.
I'm like 14 or 15 away from 500. So
yeah, you're gonna come.
I'm trying to come.
Okay. Well, hopefully,
Just don't peak too early, Shell.
Don't peak too early. Well, hey, Shell, thank you for coming on and joining us, sir. All right, it's always a pleasure to see you. You have a magical evening, and I will see you soon. And then there was the man of many voices and about 9 channels by now.
Damn it, Beavis.
This sucks.
What am I supposed to do?
You could just exist. We'll just admire
I do
you
that.
here.
It's late.
Oh, yeah, it's late. It is. Well, Tom, I'll just say, because we all know where to find you, but, sir, thank you for coming on here as always and being hard with us. And you give us something to point towards. You give us something to be pointy towards. So I thank you for that.
You said hard.
Hard. You're high. You got me hard. All right, Tom.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right. Thank you for having me, man. This is fun. I love this show.
All right. Well, next week we're going to get a bit raunchier, so get ready. No! Right? How dare thee?
I'm going home.
Oh, he just spoiled it. Anyways, that's it, guys. Next week's episode number 51 is South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. So it's going to be huge. And I see Eric K for $2 says, Shellback was Navy, any porthole in the storm. Thanks for the $2, Eric.
Rum, sodomy, and the lash.
So yeah, well, we still got a peak attendance here. This is perfect, huh? Yeah, guys, South Park, bigger, longer, uncut next week. For Toxic Tuesday, episode 51. Thank you for being here. I got a video, should be out in the morning, if not Thursday morning, on my mixed feelings towards the not reunion, not celebration, kind of not about Pantera, and what I think can be done to make it correct. And then I've got a video I'll be putting out, talk about Primal Season 2 when it premieres. So those will be my videos off this week. And of course, find me on Midnight's Edge After Dark, yelling at Park Cars, the Comics Division, and the various shows I also pop on. So yeah, those are the shows I pop on. Those are the videos. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the direct donations and for the super chats. And guys, stay huge in the chat, okay? Stay long, hard, and strong for us all. And we'll see you next week for number 51. Thank you, Gutsy77. Appreciate it. 51, South Park next week. It's going to get really shitty in here. So, it's going to get really shitty in here.
We're going
you guys all have a magical, huge evening, okay? This is goodbye.